guys.
That was a great story.
I had to come back. I had to go live again because I needed to get out of the conversation they were having.
So wait, if what if you were to like pay me to like stay at your old house as like a stand-in, like Wade?
What would I get out of that?
No one bothering you. You can live in peace.
Yeah, wait, you can go on vacation, give me your stream key, I'll wear the bald cap, no one will know.
Yeah, easy.
Okay, so I just pay for you all a place to live and give you my income and my houses.
No,
and
I'll just
I'll be
stream
left
for you,
alone.
it's okay. Just give me your
Oh, I
stream
don't have
key.
to work. I don't do anything anymore. I don't have to live anywhere.
Nope, you can retire, I'll be
I am
Wade,
your
you know.
AI now.
Okay, I'll retire with no house and no money, but at least I won't be bothered.
Yeah.
There you go.
I'll let you keep most of the money.
Thanks, man.
Not
That's
the
very kind
house
of you.
though.
Okay, well,
I'll stream for Messi.
There's not much money outside of the fucking house. Do you know what houses cost nowadays?
Yes.
So wait, are you going to tell us what the next episode of Distractable is going to be about?
If I knew, do you think
I'm not talking to
I
you.
would tell you? Oh,
About these Oreos.
All right, there you go.
That would be
Guys,
hilarious.
make
if
sure-
I was somewhat on point.
Every Tuesday and Saturday, Distractable gets loaded at 7 a.m. on I want to say Apple Pods, and you can go ahead and next episode is going to
Spotify?
be. It's also not Tuesday and Saturday. It's like Monday and Friday.
It's Spotify and it's every day.
Well, it's available every day, but that's not when it's uploaded. Thank you for helping us, Messi.
I thought Wade
Appreciate
froze
it.
for a second. I got worried.
I did
No,
freeze.
his soul just left him for a moment.
No,
You
I'm
guys want to
here.
see something cool that I got? Since I
Is
guess
it me?
I'm Wade 2 or Patrick. I got this N7 helmet.
Wow, that's badass.
Oh,
Does it
it's
fit?
sick.
Does it fit?
It does. I can wear it. However, it has it's battery powered. There are like lights on it. I don't have a battery in it right now because I just opened it up. But it also has like the blue. I think the blue lights up on the front.
Dude,
So it's
does it have
got,
like a Bluetooth like headset in there? Can you get one of those in there? Like, can
I
you
mean,
stream
probably
with that
put
on?
One, but I don't know
Yeah.
about that.
Like you put it on and you can stream with the helmet on?
I don't know if this will show. But it's got like the wiring, and you can see the power buttons on the chin there.
Ooh, don't chew on
The
those by
lights.
accident.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
bored inside your helmet, start
I'm
shooting
kind
on
of
the wire.
surprised by that, Trinicia. Wade opened a box.
I got
and-
my M8 Avenger.
What? I want one. I wanted one of those.
Yeah,
for like
now that I don't
15
use this
years.
rifle anymore, it came in.
I've wanted one of those for 15 years, and you still have that rifle. You just mod the shit out of it. Have Messi mod the shit out of it. Ah.
And more to come.
More to
Is it
come.
me? Am I gonna come next?
Rena, do a recap or something. I don't know. For the love of fuck, just
No, we're continuing on.
Good.
So we all make it back to the ship. Time passes. Blah blah blah.
I'm
Graff, you
sleeping.
lose.
That's right.
Yeah, you sleep. You lose
Rocks
whatever
fall, everybody
exhaustion.
dies.
So now you're healed. You're back to full health. You have no exhaustion. You're good to go.
Oh wait,
Everybody's
do we
good
get
to
hit
go.
points back from resting?
Yeah.
Or hit
So,
dice?
so you guys,
I mean, hit dice.
they're for. I forgot to actually say that to you, girl, boys. So when you took your long rest, you recovered 2 missing hit die, which if you were at full, you would, and you were injured, you would automatically use, which extras above the 4. So I think Rena was the only one that would be above. You just, if you're injured at all, just fucking roll that extra one right away just to heal that. And you guys would be able to spend your hit die during that time, healing if you wanted to. If you're happy with where your health pool currently is, and you just want to add the hit die to you, you can just leave that as is. I'm not too worried about it. Same thing with you, Wade. You're regaining 2 hit die. They're not, because they're not taking a long rest right now. But either way, so at the end of, a bunch of hours, eventually you would have Graff would wake up. And as Graff is waking up, it's still daytime. Don't get me wrong. You guys spent a lot of time traveling, but you also got here super early and head out early when the sun was just barely starting to come up. But as Graff wakes up and you guys are doing whatever, chatting, small talk, or whatever's happening there, you would start doing like a scan just to see where things are going, and you would realize like, okay, we've got maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours before sunset starts. So it's probably around now that you might want to get, the ship up and moving and choose a different location to go and try to land the ship if you want to stay here any longer before breaking atmo and going up into space again. So before you guys jump into RP and make that decision, let me specify anywhere around the planet on the desert area, you could easily land the ship no problem and go to where it's still going to be daytime, spend another, several hours here, really basking in being planet side so you can get rid of that stress that you've been building up. But also you can, the other location that you could swing to, as I mentioned, in the island beforehand, that was going to be off of one of the mainlands. If you head to that location, it would buy you probably like another 6 or so hours of being on the planet, no problem.
Okay. Maybe we do like a flyby. I want to be careful and keep an eye out for other things that look like they might have been affected by biotic storms. Either stay above it or below. But going like by like the mountain that's like floating and some of the other like interesting things the probe found, and just like kind of getting a view on it to see if there's anything worth investigating, I think would be cool.
I'll be right
Maybe
back.
just doing like a bit of a flyby like that. If anything jumps out at us, we land, take a look at it. If not, we kind of just chill, wait for the Asari.
Cool. Wade, you have investigation, yes?
Mm-hmm.
Rena can trigger her power to do it one more time to offer an additional investigation. Rena, would you want to trigger the power to give him advantage on the investigation for specifically the biotic storms, or for the floating mountain area that you're going to fly by?
I guess where do you feel like you would need it more?
I guess
the storms.
Are we
It's
still
what do
dealing
you
with
think is more
stress and
important, Rena?
exhaustion?
I mean, that's what I thought.
Your stress and exhaustion is gone, Wade. Their stress will be gone soon. That's why you're not leaving the planet yet.
Okay. I'm pretty good at flying. In worst case scenario, the ship takes a little bit of damage. I think we'll be okay. So
Okay.
it's probably more important because I'm not necessarily investigating the storms as much as I am just trying to fly through them. It's more so the
Right.
different landscapes. Like if I bring up the planet, from what we got, the storms are interesting. The floating mountain is all we know is the top half of it floats. We know there are floating rock platforms, blue sea. The sea is filled with like bioluminescence, so it's glowing. Perhaps it's all biotic. Maybe that's why it's glowing. Maybe it's not. But that's something worth talking about or maybe looking at. Otherwise, the only other interesting things we have as far as what we got from the probe, as far as I know, is talking about the moons and the EZO in the moons. So it's really a matter of just investigating any of those landscape features, the mountain or the seas, unless we want to focus specifically on trying to learn more about the storms to tell the Asari more than what we know. But I'm not sure how much we can gather about that. I guess in RP, Graff would defer to you because this is your mission. So it's like, okay, well, what do you want to focus on to report back to the Asari with?
Well, the storms are going to affect everywhere.
Yeah.
Right. So maybe I feel like that's kind of the priority. That's the one I thought of first too. So that's probably where I'll give you the advantage.
Cool. So you're probably going to study the storms first, get the ship up and running. Go ahead and roll me your piloting check first as you're leaving this biotic shell that seems to be here. Oh wait, are you going to leave the shields of the ship on? Or are you going to turn them off and test that?
Based on what we found out from Strix and Messy's theory and my theory, I think we'll try turning them off, and possibly even like going out and disabling the transmitter or whatever we have to do to disable the transmitter.
Cool. Passing through the area without the shields has two very different effects. Effects number one, the ship doesn't seem to be negatively impacted by the, or isn't as negatively impacted by the barrier itself. Because it still uses EZO as a fucking EZO core that's using to give you like neg grav and all that stuff so you can fly up. It's affecting the mass of your ship so you can fly up and around it, so on and so forth. So it still has an EZO core. It's just not as effective, but you're not intentionally emitting a huge EZO barrier around it. However, the core itself is affected because it doesn't have a shield of EZO around it. And the two biotic members of your party that are passing through the barrier are also affected because it doesn't have an EZO barrier around it. So I need both Zenestthea and Strix to go ahead and roll me Constitution saving throws. And Wade, for the ship, why don't you go ahead and roll me a D20 for the ship?
Sorry, I got to hand off Milo to my mom, so I don't have to.
Does the
Nice.
ship have stats? So are there any modifiers for the ship for this roll?
There's no modifier for this.
Is it slash roll 1d20?
Yes, sir.
Woo.
Okay. Couple things happen. Rena, your character is absolutely fucking racked by the passing through this barrier without having the shields turned on. The shields actually protected you as it put a barrier around that it was messing instead of you itself. So as you're passing through this area, this is what you end up suffering for damage going through. Oof.
Dead.
Oof.
Oh, I'm down.
actually-
Yeah.
That actually literally she you would hear like a scream of pain from Zenestthea, and when somebody goes to check on her, she's unconscious. Not dying yet. We can have you roll death saves in a second. But she's fucking unconscious. That fucking hurt. That drops her hard. As for Strix, Strix, you don't even take half of that. What I'm gonna have you do, because you passed your save, roll me an intelligence save.
I was gonna ask, with my engineering check earlier on the barrier or whatever I rolled earlier, would I be able to know if I would be able to do anything with my defense matrix?
Unfortunately, no.
Okay.
That would not be able to help you. But that fair question.
Intelligence
But
save?
unfortunately, no. Yes, sir. Intelligence save.
Ah,
You gonna sit with it? You have one left.
Have you lucky?
I don't think a D4 is gonna help, bro.
Lucky
Yeah.
is what he's saying.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
lucky.
no, I've only got one lucky left. Yeah, sure, why not?
Good
All
call.
right.
Good call.
Patrick, you got a really important bit of information here. What happens is as the barrier starts to rip through your body, not only are you able to physically resist it, but you also have the presence of mind to feel the planet. You've been able to feel this planet as you was on you. Like I said, it was almost like touching you, like, you know, somewhere in a way that you can't describe, touching some essence of yours before. And as it starts to rip through your body with this barrier here, you are able to feel back and almost like reach back and grab that barrier with your mind and utilize it to your advantage. You then actually make an area around you that protects you from the barrier. And because you're likely inside the engineering area, I will retro change what happens to Wade's die. You actually were able to extend outwards around you, not just a barrier around yourself protecting you, but you're able to protect even the engine, the ESO core, as it's starting to be racked and ripped apart, and as things are starting to happen to it from the barrier. And I was going to trigger an event, but it doesn't matter now. You're able to push back the barrier enough that it does not impact the core. Whatever it was that was happening, whatever that feeling was that you got beforehand, for at least a moment, you had control over it. Which of course leads you to believe what else might you have control over, but that's a different conversation. You successfully actually safeguard the ship. So in the cockpit, you'd have.
Does it only
what's
last
their
a
names?
minute or like not a minute, but like a second?
a few moments, yeah.
Okay.
So in the cockpit, and I'll
Leading
feel free to
moments
RP in a
almost.
second. Exactly. Feel free to RP if you want in a moment, Strix. But in the cockpit, Wade, what you would see is as you're going through, you're flying through, and you're like, all right, we're gonna try this out. Da-da-da. Oh shit! As like all of a sudden you literally see like the ship's not shaking, but the ESO core has all the alerts are spiking, and you're like, oh fuck! As like everything's, and then as all those things are spiking, all of a sudden like simultaneously they all start just like drop all the warning signs, all the bars on them start slowly, gradually dropping down into the safety zones, and then down to not even being concerned or watched anymore. As then you pull out of the barrier, and you're like, what the fuck was that? Strix, is there anything you would say or do before I throw it to Wade for how he would react? And obviously somebody's going to notice Zenestthea on the ground and want to run to her. Probably the other person that's not doing something being messy. So Strix first.
So just to clarify, you said that this kind of felt like an energy.
Yeah.
That's the way that I'm like describing it, kind of like a weird numb feeling almost.
Yeah. That works. Yep.
I feel like I repulsed whatever was going through the barrier. He asks it like he says it like in a question. Whatever
You can manipulate and control it.
I don't know. The moment is passing. I imagine I'm doing this at like I'm like repulsing it as like this moment is happening, Scott, or has it already happened?
To this point, it's already happened. Yep.
Okay. I don't know, but I was able to overcome it. I stopped it from interfering with the core, I believe. Yeah, I'm checking now.
Yeah, please do. I had all kinds of alerts going off up here. Zen, you
Are
have a
things
similar
stable now?
experience? Yeah, I think so. I mean, you tell me. You're the one back there.
I mean,
Uh,
for me, everything's looking green. I imagine, right, Scott? Because I kind of protected it.
Zen, you have a similar experience?
So you, like I said, Messi, you probably would have heard the scream while they were fucking occupied. And like,
Yeah.
I don't want to put words in your mouth, but
I assume he would look to see what was going on, and see she probably isn't doing well. And is it like Star Trek where the ship's like shaking and everyone's like, whoa? Is it like that, or is it like calm?
on the way down, the ship was shaking. On the way up, their ship wasn't shaking. All of a sudden, just a whole bunch of alarms went off because it was the core
Okay.
itself that was fucked with, not the whole. Go ahead.
Okay, he would kind of work his way to her by like, he doesn't need to try too hard, but he's gonna do that thing where he doesn't want to not be holding on to something in case something starts happening. So he's like holding onto the wall, and he like pushes off and grabs the other one, and just kind of like walks across and like grabs a seat or whatever. And then he makes his way over to Zenestthea, and he doesn't say anything, but he will take out one of his metagels and just hit her with it.
Yep, he just throws it at her forehead, like he's.
Is Zenny okay?
wallpaper.
You'll hear me come over intercoms just because I imagine moments have passed.
I'm getting her up.
Hitting her up. What happened?
What's the level 1 metagel?
2d4 plus 2.
Rena rolled 2d4 plus 2.
There's a
And then
button
Rena-
for it.
Oh, is there? Oh, that's right, on the bottom. Yeah, there's a button for it.
And then Rena, as you come to describe that feeling when you were a child and you were first learning how to use biotics, even for an Asari, biotics are very dangerous to learn. Sure, they're innates. They're innates to them. So you have 6 health points. Sure, they're innates to you, and there's something that all Asari can kind of do intrinsically. But when you're learning to become like a proper biotic warrior, somebody that does more than just small manipulations, but actual combat, like the lance that you throw and the gravity well that you make and so on and so forth, those are genuinely dangerous things to learn how to do, which is why not literally all Asari can do them. So last time you experienced anything like this is when you had kind of like tried to do a power and accidentally did it on yourself and wound up in a hospital. That was the last time you experienced anything like this. Like we're going back like, I don't know, 150 years or some shit. Like that was horrible. Go ahead.
So am I up then?
With
Oh,
6
okay.
health.
Yep, you wake up 6 health and you have what's his name? Frait kind of like kneeling over you, clearly having just
He would
applied some
have-
metagel.
He would have like a flashlight going back and forth between your eyes, and then he would respond to Strix while you're still waking up. So probably the first thing you'd hear is, I don't know, I heard
Why
something,
is she down?
and she was slumped over.
It was the barrier. Oh God,
It's stable now.
goddess, I should say.
Was I able to do anything for her, by the way?
No, unfortunately.
I mean,
she's
she got
fine.
hit by it, but like I'm saying, from now on, or is it no?
You've already lost your control that you had.
Zenny, after we get this situation fixed, there's something we need to talk about regarding this barrier. Rest up, though.
Based on the readings from the core and Zen, hope you're okay, but you getting fucked up, I think we go with the shield approach from now on if we need to pass through. Rather the ship take some dings than the innards and the ussers.
Is that the only barrier we have to pass through?
That's a great question. As far as I know, depends on where we go and if there's anything I mean, it's kind of hard to know for sure. But I'll avoid anything that looks storm torn. Zen, you still want to take a look around at all, or you want me to just get the fuck out of here?
I have 6 health points or hit points. So not doing great. I don't know how useful I'd be, but I could try.
We were just gonna fly around to look at the
he-
mountain and look at the barrier and stuff.
He was talking about
Okay, so
in-game,
this
like
would-
would your character want to stay or go? In the metagame, all you're going to do is offer advantage to one of the 2 checks that he was going to roll for. But in-game, he's like, Graff is talking
yeah.
to Zen, like, you okay, bro?
Yeah, she'll just say, no, it's fine. We can keep looking around. While we're here, at least. I'll be fine.
All right, I'm putting the shields back online. Strix, make sure that they're functional. Whatever the fuck you did, if you can do that to the shields, if we end up hitting another barrier, that'd be great.
I can't promise anything. The feeling is fleeting.
Yeah,
It's
what?
hard to explain, but I don't know if I'll be able to.
Yeah, I feel like you just found God or Goddess or something, but that's good, I guess. Use that. Let's go take a look, see what we can figure out about this barrier, and maybe check out the mountainside or whatever else. Then we'll get the hell out of here. Go hook up with the Asari and get the fuck out.
Cool.
Aye, aye.
So, remind me, which one was Rena giving you advantage on? Was it
The barrier?
The barrier. The storm, not the barrier itself. The storm.
The storm, I think. Yeah.
Cool. Then go ahead and roll that one with advantage first.
Okay. What is it? Investigation.
Yes, sir.
Love that.
Are you happy with your 10?
No. Oh my god. 13.
This is what I'm going to be able to tell you from that. First and foremost, it is dangerous. Is it as dangerous as passing through that barrier? That's a really good question. It's hard to tell. You think that in most of the storm that you're in, it's dangerous, but like less than passing through that barrier. But like peak points of that storm, more dangerous than passing through that barrier. So like you think that just in general, it's frightening to be in that storm or whatever as it's kind of like rolling through, so on and so forth. Generally speaking, again, not as dangerous as passing through the barrier, but there are moments that are much more so. To answer another question that you definitely would have tried to check earlier, you can in fact fly above the storm. However, when you do so, probably be a good distance above the clouds themselves, because you wouldn't be surprised based off the readings that you're getting from the sensors if one of the biotic fields stretched just enough above the clouds that if you happen to be in one of those like, kind of like burp ups of like biotic energy up there, that it would pull you, that would make your ship so heavy it could pull you back down. And you're like, so if you're gonna fly above it, take like a good distance above it. So you can also imagine in the clouds themselves are probably very dangerous, and beneath them certainly so. I think that's all I can give you with only a 13.
Do we? Can we tell at all if where the storm passes, it leaves a similar like barrier? Or is that hard to tell?
No. Destruction in some areas, yes, but you have to understand the whole planet is like dense forest. So if it knocks down some trees here and there, like a real storm does in real life, it's not the end of the world.
So whatever caused the one area to be torn up and that barrier to be there is not one of the general storms. That was something worse or different.
Likely unique. Otherwise, it'd probably be pockmarks like that all over the goddamn planet, right?
Okay, but we don't see any. Can I roll to see if we see anything else that looks like that as we're flying around?
You don't
or do we
see
just
anything like that. You didn't notice it when you did a full planet scan earlier in the session.
Okay.
And you rolled much higher back then. All right, so back to the other one. Go ahead and roll me an investigation check for the actual mountainside thing.
Okay. Am I the one that should be rolling? I feel like Messi is better at this, or does it make more sense for me to do it?
Messi's welcome to go ahead and roll the mountainside one if he's better.
Yeah,
I'm assuming we can't roll together because I'm flying.
What's the stat?
Correct.
Investigation. I think you're a 4, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm a 4. I can do
I'm
that.
a 3, so you can do that if you want to. It's
I'm
just
a
flat
10.
investigation.
Just flat? Okay. You're not a 10.
Are you happy with your 15?
Kinda.
It's up to you. We're just letting the Asari probably know about it, so yeah.
So what I would say is this, Messi. When you go by the mountain that's over there, there is no standing out biotic barrier around this mountain ridge that stands out as anything like super unique. It's not like there's something being emitted or some boundary or whatever it is. Like you saw something clearly being emitted on the space station before, and some sort of boundary that you saw in the patch of fallen trees or forest or whatever I said beforehand down below. It's nothing like that. It just seems like the natural biotic negative field, which makes the mass lighter, of the where the segmented mountain is floating, is just there. It's likely something naturally occurring that's causing that to happen and to stay static that way. Either that, or it was manufactured so long ago and it's so intrinsic to the fields in the area that you don't see it standing out. You don't get any readings that come off as any more strange than a fucking mountain floating in the sky. Beyond that, what your scannings and readings of the area is you actually can see there's a structure on the top of the mountain, like near its peak. There's a metallic structure that happens to be up there, but what that structure was or whatever its purpose it was at the time, it's hard to make out because it's been many years since it like fell into ruin, broken, rusted, and so on and so forth. You can't get a proper reading. Maybe if your Omni tool was functioning better or you rolled higher on the die, you'd be able to figure it out. But as it is right now, you just tell that there's some structure that is near the peak of this floating mountain that's above there. As I said beforehand, there is a waterfall that's running off of this mountain down below, and of course it kind of like makes a pool down there, which then has rivers coming off of it.
So the water's flowing down off of the floating peak. It's not floating off or anything. It still has normal gravity.
Yep, still floating down.
Where's that water coming from?
Probably the snow melting in the sky, like where water normally falls from off of a mountain.
Is it not a lot of water?
It's a waterfall, just same as you would off of a regular mountain. It's just because the mountain itself. So, little fun fact: the mountain has a slight tilt to it, slight grade to it. So it's nothing crazy. But if you took a step back and did like a full analysis, you'd see like a 3% grade on it, which is not like a crazy, but it's enough to make all the water or most of the water flow one way versus the others, which is why it comes off as more of like an individual waterfall versus a couple of like little trickles here and there.
Okay.
But where the waterfall is coming from, you can kind of like trace that back up to the top of the mountain, and you can actually see like, again, it seems natural. Nothing seems, this is why I was bringing it up. Nothing seems strange about it, aside from the fact that there's a few moments where it floats through free flowing air, as there's like a couple 100-foot gap between bottom mountain and top mountain. You know what I mean? Other than that, that's it. Before you ask me, is there anything between those two mountains that happens to exist there? Yeah, there is. I mean, in that area between, over the course of whoever knows how many tens or hundreds or millions of years has passed since this segmentation happens, plants would have eventually grown on the rock in the shade. So obviously shade growing plants. And so there would be some animals that would appear there, some fauna that would appear there as well, that would just be normally living in that gap between the two mountains. If there's a space, life will find a way. And so it has.
So
Okay.
our interpretation of what you've given us is that whatever caused this separation and lightened the weight of the top of the mountain, it's not currently a field that's affecting plants, water, life on either segment. So it's not like a deer starts running and then all of a sudden it gets fucking floating up toward the top peak or something.
That's a great question. Would you guys intentionally stop and try to like look specifically for that?
I think I would, unless they told me not to. I think I would try to come take a closer look and figure that out. Because if Frait put out a structure is worth pointing out. So we might want to get closer. But before I get too close, it's like I don't want to go in there and have our ship turn into a lead weight or a balloon.
Yeah.
But if we can start getting it close enough to where we can either do a scan or see if it looks like weird shit like that's happening, I would definitely want to.
He would just spitballing theories. He would probably mention that he feels like he hasn't seen this before on other planets. So he feels like it's unique to this one, probably unique to biotics. He would also mention that it could be something magnetic, but it's most likely some kind of biotic field we can't see. There's just him guessing. And then he would mention the structure and say if we want to find answers, that would probably be the place to start. But if you wanted to go, if you were like, oh, let's go check out if you wanted to be safe and check out the middle part, he'd like nod and say that's probably a good idea. I just wanted to skip
Graff
through that.
would not want to just like fly in. He would want to very either slowly approach or just sit there for a while and kind of look and see what he notices.
We can go at your pace.
Yeah, if we're gonna get any closer, I don't want to risk anything with the ship or us. I think Zenny's been through enough. I think we've all been through enough. But
is any stable right now, or is this all still like?
She's up. She's just hurt.
I'm up. She's just fucked up.
But if this was a one-time event versus if this is a continually occurring thing, I mean that's an interesting information to know. I don't know what it does for us, but my curiosity's piqued, and if there's a Prothean or other kind of structure on top, I mean, be cool to check it out. I just also don't want to risk flying down there and permanently or even temporarily altering all of our
Insides.
whatever the fuck, you know? So let's slowly go in unless y'all have any objections, and if anything starts to seem off, we'll just get the fuck out of here.
It's a good plan.
We could try sending the probe again. See if that affected as it goes down. But that could just be pissing away 25,000 credits, but maybe better to do that than our lives.
I mean, that's why we have it, right?
Yeah,
I remember a time when credits were so important to you.
well, it'd be nice to get paid well for this job that we've done, but also,
He's saying it kind of just to egg you on. He's not meaning like anything behind it besides.
he's just gonna take it dead serious from you. Like he'll get your tone, but one other thing I haven't fully confessed to yet is well, when we were on the station and I was eager to go, part of that was probably the Reaper stuff fucking with my mind, but selfishly I've always wanted to find a way to get back to Earth and the Protheans and all their technology. Any one thing they have might blow what we have out of the water and help me find a way to get back and see if I've got any family left. And so I'm not gonna lie, I'm not going into all this with a clear head. I haven't for a long time. But it's only fair if I let you all know that.
It's appreciated.
Yeah. So if y'all have any objections, state them now, but that's my intent of why I'm a bit more eager than I usually am. I just want to get home to whatever's left. Maybe nothing.
So
I
heavy
can't say
Dewey
I blame you.
response.
I don't know if Strix would know how to respond.
That's fine. You're like 10, dude. I get it.
50.
10, 15, that's a lifetime to some.
I was just gonna say, I can't say I blame you.
Soul was when all the shit went down with Shepard and whatever the fuck happened with the Reapers and the relays and everything else. Seeing those holes blasted in the Prothean station and I'm terrified of going back home, but I'm more motivated than ever to eventually get there and see. I just have to know. My parents might still be around, but well, till I take my last breath, I know not seeing my little girl or my wife again. But there were other people I cared about once upon a time. And I hope their fate's better than the Protheans was. Anyway, take us in slow. Let me know if anything's weird on the readings or anything.
So we're using the probe. We're not hovering the ship around and so on and so forth.
I think we're gonna send the probe in first, but I'm gonna slowly move in a little bit, send in the probe so that it's not going too far. And then if the probe seems okay, then we'll probably go in from there. But rather risk the probe than our ship and ourselves.
It's going to be a 90% chance of it being safe
Sure.
again. I'll allow this to work. It was your idea. I'll let you roll it this time. Pick your 10 dangerous numbers and roll. Or ask somebody to.
Let's keep 1 through 10 bad. Steve, you're active right now, and you have to leave a lot, so you roll while you're here.
Cool.
D100.
Well,
Roll higher than a 10.
roll a 3.
We're due for good rolls in the D100. We gotta be.
So the probe is actually going to bring back a lot of important information. 36. That's how old I am.
Sure. 10 years ago.
Oh, I was last
someone
year.
redeemed
Last
an
year.
insult somewhere.
Yeah. Anyways, so moving on. Ow. So you guys actually noticed something fucking weird down there. It's kind of not that it's a good thing. It's not that it's necessarily a good thing that you set the probe, but it did save you having to make a save or a check or whatever. You see, that area down below, like I said, there are plants that would have grown up, including low growing trees, and there is some fauna that exists there as well. But here's the fucking crazy part. Because of the way that the area works, those creatures that you see moving around as the probe's like scanning them, watching them, the creatures are like these leaping kind of creatures. Almost imagine like, you know, how like, high jumping kind of creatures, like cats have high jumps, and kangaroos and stuff like that will have like high jumping kind of strange fauna that exists here. Again, bright colors, beautiful creatures, One of the things that these creatures seem to do is they'll actually go and they'll climb up to the top or the higher parts of one tree, and they'll jump up as high as they can and utilize the fact that the area has that like lifting barrier to carry them extreme leaps to other spots. So they're able to do leaps that do not normally exist, that they are beyond their typical physical capability, because they're smart enough to go high enough up in the trees that then they can just leap and go all the way across to other areas. So they've kind of like adapted to this environment, if not evolved within this environment, to allow them to do that. Moreover, the creatures have these like claw-like appendages on their legs, hands, whatever, that allow them to like walk and climb up the trees to begin with. On the rare occasion, you would even see them intentionally jump straight upwards and can even clamber onto the floating bit of mountain that's above, and the downward growing funguses or whatever that are there, and to actually clamber on that as though it was like a roof. So there is a field there that they do interact with, and allows them to pass between the lower half of the mountain and the upper half with these otherwise insane jumps that are hundreds of feet in distance, because of the fields that happen to exist there, which is pretty fucking badass. So you see that, and you see like watch this happening, and you're like, okay, well that's freaking cool. And that whole platform down there, as you said, the probe around and scanning and so on and so forth, you can see there are quite a few different areas on the bottom half of the mountain that you could land the ship if you wanted to. And it would be a relatively, if not completely safe area to land the ship. And then you would be between the two mountains, and you're not really worried about it squishing, because it's been there clearly for many thousands of years or whatever. You also just sent the probe to go and try to investigate some of the details above. It does get a couple of scans of the metal structure that we saw beforehand. Who was the one actually driving the probe? I know Wade was the one that rolled, but who would have been the one actually driving the probe?
I'm
I guess
apparently
it depends on-
flying the ship, so probably not me.
What kind of stat do you need to fly a probe?
It doesn't necessarily matter, but it is going to be a science check that I'm having you roll. So I don't know who's the best person for science.
I think that's Rena.
I have a 1.
I have a 2.
I think I also have a 2.
I have a 0.
I thought
Between me and
Did
Strix.
you were the one that was helping Graff anyway, right?
Yeah.
I would
it makes
imagine
sense
Strix
if I
is
did it.
like in the back, keeping an eye on all of our shit because we're risking things. So I imagine it would probably be Frait then.
Yeah, I can
Frank,
do it.
give me a roll. Science. Science, bitches.
It makes sense that Strix would be ready to help if anything goes wrong with the ship, right?
Who's bitches?
Okay, so unfortunately, it gets scans of this. Oh my fucking god! Forensically, so the scans, they forensically said that before it happened. So because of stream delay, so it was like almost the same exact time. Yeah. Anyway, so so it gets scans and it brings them back, but unfortunately, as you try to parse through the scans or understand what they are, you're not getting much from it. You know, there's metal structures that are up there. Clearly, they're not natural. Clearly, they were designed to be something, but their initial purpose, you have no fucking clue. But you are still able to get another important detail. There is no place on that upper bit of the mountain where you can land the ship. You think you see one or two spots where you can land a smaller ship, like a shuttle, if you wanted to take a small shuttle or a multi-terrain kind of shuttle to go up there, meaning that there are realistically only 3 ways that you can theorize, unless you guys are thinking outside the box, come up with something else, for you to get onto that floating mountain in a secure fashion. A, you fly a small shuttle that can properly land and you land up there. B, you go on the platform down below and try to do some bullshit like what those animals did and literally launch yourselves to like the roof and like climb along the roof to come around to the mountain's edge and be able to be up there at that point. Or C, have somebody fly another ship over and you jump out of it, like just like a drop landing, and jump out of it, and that way you can properly be up there.
What about
Otherwise, you
flying the
can't find
ship
another way up
in? Okay, so question here. The bottom, where the mountain is split in half, the top half, but the bottom of it.
Yep.
Is it almost like it has its own gravity where things are running underneath it upside down?
No. It's not like it's going to have its own gravity. It's that the gravity is disrupted enough that things are able to jump up enough to it and climb along the bottom of it, but not like, stand up, hanging
But they're still
upside
being
down from
pulled
there.
down. It's just not as strong of a gravity.
Exactly that, sir. Yes.
Okay.
So it's not like option directional gravity, like if you're in Planescape or some shit like that.
What about
it's
flying the
just-
ship over the metal structure and using the umbilicus to put people down?
You would, the umbilicus wouldn't be able to go quite that far. You would more or less fly over the metal structure and then like drop yourselves out of it, which you could shoot or other means of doing it safely. Rena has powers or whatever. There are means to do it safely, but you can do that. It's just
Okay.
hovering there for long periods of time. Sure, totally an option, but then you're cutting that character out of the ability to explore further.
Okay. I guess.
Either way, all of those seem like dangerous ideas because you
Yeah,
have
they
no.
do.
If there's already animals that can traverse up there, who knows what's already living on that over the course
Yeah.
of whatever.
Well, and even if we found stuff out about this, I don't know if it would be that life changing for us anyway. So I'll let Frait take over since he's the one that found this out with the probe, and we'll go from your RP.
Okay. So doesn't seem like we're gonna be able to land the ship up there. It's just too big. We could try to go through the middle if we could get high enough, and find a way to scale a mountain, but frankly it seems unreachable. Perhaps if we float above we could lower someone down. I'm not sure how close we'd be able to get.
I
There's
mean,
really no good options here.
unless you all object, I feel like we've gotten a pretty good amount of data to pass on to the Asari.
I think we
Zenestthea
have plenty
already
of
been put
data.
through shit here. Maybe we just take our wins and get the fuck out of here. Meet up with them.
Not
let
just
them
here,
figure it
we've
out.
gone through tribulations and trials that have left us scarred.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
we all know why you want to leave.
The space station would be on our way out.
It's not.
It's
By the way.
not.
Would
I
they
don't think
find
I
this
have it.
suspicious that I keep bringing it up?
I mean,
Yeah.
it sounds like they do.
Okay.
I don't think I have it in me to keep going here. At least
Yeah.
not right now.
All right.
You did take
Well,
a nasty spill.
We gotta stretch our legs and, well, Zen got flattened on her ass. So I think that's a pretty productive, horrible, great day. Let's get the fuck out of here. Meet up with the Asari and get the fuck out of here. No more space stations either, Strix, before you fucking mention it again.
You'll hear him kind of get all like grouchy. Fine.
You mention this shit tomorrow, we're tearing your room up. I'm making sure you didn't bring any shit with you.
You guys are able to break Atmo and leave the place. And eventually, Wade, you'd set a course and would head over to where the relay area is, where you expect that the Asari would be appearing. So you do that with great ease. Messy, technically speaking, during that time, and you would have had another downtime activity. So you would have been able to break down one more gun if you wanted to do so. I'm going to go ahead and guess you're
Yeah.
going to do the heavy gun for the 10 Omni Gel you get off of it.
Yeah.
Big Prothean weapon that we've had for a while.
Do I have time to break anything down? I'm
that
still
one,
flying,
yeah.
so no.
You've been too active for at this point, so I'm just gonna skip you for now. So Messy, break down the heavy gun. You get the 10 Omni Gel out of it. Cool, yay, yay.
Wait, can you put it on the bank?
How much are you keeping? Any of it?
Oh, no, just put it all in the bank.
Okay,
Pat,
I'm
I
gonna
think
steal
you were in the
3 for
middle of-
myself, but I'll put 7 in there.
Okay.
Pat, I think you're in the middle of crafting something and you needed one more day or whatever it was, so you would have finished it, or maybe you already finished it. I don't remember, but
I don't
you're all set.
remember. No,
Cool.
I wanted to. Oh, was I building the?
We don't have the
You needed
materials. for it right now.
25. You don't have the materials for it,
Okay.
so
I don't
you
know
have to
what I
wait a
was
minute.
crafting. Then that would require me to wait.
nothing. All good.
So armor?
I also
working
just
on
need a
armor?
wisdom save
craft
from
armor.
you, Pat. Just one wisdom save from you, Pat, and then we're gonna jump into the next thing here. Or just the last thing here.
I can't wait to fail this.
Hey.
Lucky. Or luck
Yeah,
it.
I'm
Yeah,
going
there
to
you
luck
go.
that.
Okay, Pat. A bunch of hours pass, and yeah, don't get me wrong. You sleep a long night's sleep again, like a solid 13 hours or so. You have some fucking weird dreams.
Wait, it's another long rest? Yes.
But eventually, when you wake up from these fucking weird ass dreams, you're feeling more groggy, but more yourself. You don't feel that strange pull on you any longer. You can go ahead and eliminate the 1 level of indoctrination off your character sheet, Pat.
Fucking Christ.
Cool. So you guys head over to the relay area, and from here, I imagine you're going to want to check the relay and see that it functions. It does, the communications relay, allowing you to ping outwards to communicate with the Asari that are there. So without having to fall into RP about that specifically, you would be able to ping out to them. They'd be able to ping back to you. And just a quick little sum up, they inform you that they are another day or two, a day and a half or so away from where you are. They had actually left a full day prior to your even coming to this relay. So it took them about 2.5, 3 days to get here because of how slow it is from blah, 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 blah. Who cares? So, but they are able to make their way to this area, and they're going to do so. Is there anything of note? You do have another long rest that can happen.
Break down
one more
Pat's
piece of
1
armor.
slot helmet.
Cool.
What does a 1 slot helmet give? How many is that?
Regular is breaking down a regular helmet. I think it's 2.
Okay.
And
do
Two.
three.
is it 3? Whatever it said, I have it on that handout. And Messy breaks down 1 more gun, and so you get
Sounds
that.
good.
Cool.
I'm
And
gonna
then
use that one.
And then eventually,
Don't put anything in that. Sorry.
cool. And then eventually, the ship is going to arrive, or ships, I should say, are going to arrive, and then you see these things kind of like dropping into the area as they're coming out of their own like fast
kinda
light
like-
travels.
I was like, do they kind of like zoom in, kind of like Star Wars or like Star Trek? Where they're-
Is it like surprising?
No. You're in
Would we
communication
have
with them, so
known?
you would have had
Okay.
because you have open
Okay.
communication, so you're aware of them coming in. So you'd be safe
Which-
because it's not like you have a relay around
We gave
you.
them
so it's not like,
consent to come in. To come.
Which
So,
which handout is it?
the building shit or some shit. I don't know, scrapping shit. It's the shit handout.
It's on
How
roll
many
20?
times can you say shit, bro?
Hold
What the
on, hold on. Tracking shit,
Grab.
notes and shit,
Tracking-
Dominion shit, items shit, player shit, party scrap. Helms give you 3 each.
Why don't I see that? I don't see.
It's under players. Party
Oh, there
scrap.
it is. Okay, I wasn't looking under players. That was one thing I didn't think to look. Okay.
So you're
thank
gonna
you.
remove 1 helm and 1 small gun from there, but only apply the 3 from your helm. Messy said he's using the small gun shit for something else. So, cool. Moving on. So when you're over by a relay, it calculates where something's coming from, how much its mass is, blah, 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 and it knows where it's going to. And if it sees you there, it'll change the trajectory of the ship coming in to make sure there's 0 collisions. Collisions do not happen at relays. The relays do not allow it. There is no relay here, so you'd want to have a constant update of where it is that the trajectory is suggesting that they're going to be popping out of faster than light travel, so you can fucking move out of the way. And you would do so. You'd move like a full hour's travel out of the way of where they're likely going to come in. And that's important because, like, if you're doing blind jumps or any of those, yeah. So they drop in, doof, 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 and they appear as Patrick had said. Like in Star Wars, you see him kind of like almost like drop in out of like almost like a hyperspeed. So they come into the area and they would almost immediately afterwards would ping out to you and would set up for communication. You guys would travel over to where they are, and on their mothership, the dreadnought that they brought with them, they would
Call it dreadnought, bro. What the fuck?
they would allow you to dock your ship there, so you can kind of rejoin with them. Okay. As a reminder, everybody at this point in time now has lost the stress. You're no longer taking the -1s. You spent pretty much a full day on the planet and got your rests or whatever, so everybody's stress is gone. And you're going to go finally meet with the Asari. As a reminder, you had 2 points of contacts there. You're the matriarch. And then you had Commander Alina. Yes, sir.
For health tracking, how many nights did we sleep?
Technically 2 full rests. I think you only had 0 HD left, so you would have healed your 2 HD, yes?
I healed 2 and then I spent 2. That would have been a full amount, I think. I think I'm caught up.
Okay.
I healed 1 and had an extra, so I guess I got 6.
Don't
I've
forget,
rested twice, I
if
think,
you-
at this point.
If you guys are using hit die, the first time you use it during some sort of a rest, Wade
is it
can make you
double?
auto
That-
max it.
Okay.
So that first
I
roll
need to
Freight
adjust
would
my
have been
rolls.
a 9 or whatever. But okay, cool.
9, yeah.
Any other details before we jump into the RP with the Asari?
So they've recovered 4 hit dice total, or they've recovered 6 and I've recovered 4, or they've recovered 4 and I've
Everybody's recovered
2?
4.
Okay.
Oh no,
I just spent 2
yeah,
on.
you've only
Yeah,
recovered
I
2,
gotta roll some-
Wade. They've recovered 4. Actually, no, it's been another day. Everybody's recovered 4.
Yeah.
Everybody's
Yeah,
recovered
okay,
4.
wait a minute.
So I'm at 3 of 4 then.
guys, just so we don't waste time on it, don't worry about hit die. You're going to be able to take multiple long rests if you want to at this point.
Okay, so back
don't
at
stress
full,
hit die.
then.
It was just
Yeah.
in case we
Go back
decided to try to
full.
take the dreadnought for ourselves and kill everyone that I was curious.
Understood. Fair question.
That's a nice big ship, technically.
But that's a hard no. We're not going to have a moment where fucking Cigar McStar Wars goes up there and takes out a fucking Star Destroyer on his own, okay?
That's
Um,
silly.
I don't
Yeah.
have my cigar, so I can't damn shun.
There you go. That's his name, damn shot. Anyway, so back to game. So you ship is welcome to lands there. When it lands there, the damage that's on the ship, the Asari actually offer to do the repairs to it. So one of those things where, or you might ask them and they would do the repairs for you. But you can see that the people that are there working on the ship, like, on this thing, are you sure it's worth it? But they'll do the repairs for you. It's just you have a shitty little ship. Anyways, so when you finally meet with them, and you go and meet inside one of these chambers. The chamber that you go and meet into is going to have, large computer or hollow display that's there, that's up against the wall. Not one of those like emitting in the center of the field. It's not Star Wars. It's hollow display along a wall. There's going to be a whole bunch of different Asari officers that are around handling different computers and whatnot. So kind of like walking over here, over there, so on and so forth, but not like directly interacting with you or necessarily listening into what it is you guys are talking about. And you would go and you would meet with the 2 that had sent you here, both the matriarch and the Commander Alina. Yes. So as you're walking into the place, there's a moment where Commander Alina would be give you the appropriate greeting for your faith, Arena. Is it Arena? Rena. Not to be confused with
All
Commander
the names
Alina.
are so
mixing the-
they're so mixed. Yeah, they're like all
Jesus
the same.
fucking Christ. So how
And
does
there's
he
a
pull from
teenage
the
witch,
lore?
Sabrina.
Yep, absolutely. I always get confused. I always have a hard time confusing Rena with Rhea. And I'm like, do not call her by her dog's name. That has a very different meaning. Avoid that one. So
That's funny because today I called the dog Rena, which makes no sense.
Did you? Why?
Does it not? I feel like
They're
you
just so
having that
similar,
dog
I
around-
guess.
I'm
I
going to
was
stay
like,
silent because
what?
anything I say will just be putting my foot in my mouth, even in joke form. So I will just eat it and be quiet.
Smart.
I'm married. I've learned.
I'm married, I get worse. So
Well,
True.
you're
You're
old.
Scott.
True.
I mean, Scott,
No.
man, you're great and well
No,
done with
Scott.
everything.
my mom whacks me.
Whoever redeemed the nice thing, I remembered. So you're welcome. Hope it was worth it.
Sorry,
Scott, you
Staga.
piece
Back
of
on track.
shit.
So back to game stuff. So you go walking into the area, and Commander Alina will then walk up to Zenestthea. Fucking we'll walk up
I'll tell
to
you
her.
what.
We'll walk
I
up to
tell
her.
you what.
And give the appropriate greeting of your faith, and kind of like welcome you back and say, I'm genuinely happy to see that you're still alive. When you jumped through here, we read out of the readings your ship gave off as it sent out, and we thought you were going to end up in the dark. You made it, though. No communications. We couldn't know if you were okay. And the one signal that we got, it didn't seem like it would have been your ship. The signal that you originally sent through, yeah, it took a considerable amount of time to parse through that even came from you. It seemed more like a blast off a pulsar than anything else. But the Solarians that we had on it were able to decode it and figure it out in the middle
I
of our
knew it.
travels. Looks at you.
That was Wade. That wasn't Graff. That was Wade.
Yeah,
Just
I
like, I
was
fucking
gonna
knew the
say,
Solarians
that's
would be back and they're
medical.
all scientists again.
But you're all alive.
Yeah, it took a bit longer than I would have liked to get all of that set up, but seems like it was working, and honestly, there was really not much we could do aside from wait to make sure that it went through. When it eventually did, we knew you'd be there within a matter of days, so I'm glad to see you. There's much we've discovered.
I'm very interested to hear what it is you have to say. And the matriarch kind of leans forward and says, we're very interested, of course. Now, please, I'm sure that each one of you is tired. I'm sure each one of you would like to have a proper bed to sleep in, good food to fill yourselves up, and maybe moments of spiritual cleansing. But we're going to have to get to that after you let us know what's happened. Permissions first for us to scan your ship for any details that we can get off of that, what its sensors would have picked up along the way.
There's nothing on the ship that we don't want them to have, right? So that'd be fine.
No, I think everything that if we were trying to keep anything from them anyway, would
It's
be
on our
on
Omni
us.
tools.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it should be fine.
Which is a good thing because
Um,
Messika wanted to download it into the ship. I don't think he did that, did he?
No.
No. So the ship should be fine to scan, so I think we would allow that.
Yeah.
Okay.
She nods and she says, by all means.
Messi almost did that.
But
But
it was discussed.
so they go ahead and so they're going to take care of that, and they say while the ship is
The probe information, I think, would be on the ship. So the information we got from the probe would probably be on there. So they would get all that data, which would save us the trouble of having to send that to them.
exactly that, sir. So they say, of course, we're going to have a lot of information coming from the ship our way. So understanding that while those details of maybe atmospheric pressure or composition, temperatures, and the like may be important and valuable, we'll be able to collect that quick enough and easy enough as needed. What we care to hear about, this is still the matriarch talking, what we care to hear about is what your experiences were. What did you gather for information from there? Anything that you maybe wouldn't be in the logs. What are you able to tell us? Where did you go? What did you find? Rena, roll me an insights check. I know you have a decent passive insight, or at least I believe you do, but roll me an insights check
yeah.
with advantage.
Oh, shit.
We just roll another single one.
Oh, yeah, okay. Okay, then
Are you happy with the 19, I assume?
I mean, if we have the luck, I could look it to try to get more off of them.
Up to you.
Here. 21.
You're actually you get a look and like a feeling, like a moment from Commander Alina, suggesting that you kind of like get this quick reading, this like flash in her eyes that suggests like if there's anything you want to keep to yourself, like is that moment like share, but like the same
Right, but like
time.
don't overshare. Yeah, exactly.
You get that moment from
honestly,
that from the commander.
Yeah, I mean, majority of what they'll get off of the ship, like the scans from when we like kind of did our tour of the system, is kind of what she's going to talk about. So I'll just start with well, like I mentioned, it took us some time to set up communications when we first got here, and that was obviously the first priority. But then we figured it best to kind of tour the system itself, see what kinds of planets are here, moons and things like that. This is what we found. You know, she'll give them the data on literally like their first initial tour of everything, like the planet they just left, because I can't remember the name of it right now.
Tamara.
It's moons.
Samara.
Tamara. Yeah. Where the space station was, where the derelict ships were, like, and she'll, you know, point that out. The other planet with the weird cave system, and the manatees, and the gas giant, right? Just one gas
So a
giant
lot of
or
the
something?
details that you're sharing right now are the ones that you didn't necessarily have to worry about because it's already going to be covered by the You can
And
give
that's
like
what-
small little.
So that's what I'm
tidbits.
saying, is like,
Yeah.
yeah, they're gonna like see all that as they're getting it from the ship, because we did all of our scans and stuff, but she's gonna give them basically her opinion of each place, like as they went. It was like, honestly, we didn't see much of anything aside from those strange creatures here and there.
We're going to go ahead and roll me a
the-
deception check as you're doing this and continue.
Well, okay, I'm not withholding everything, and I wasn't done.
Please,
But
go ahead.
so initially we didn't think that there were any kinds of Prothean artifacts, especially the space station being as it was. Though that seemed the best place to start. And when we got into that, there's a lot of broken down technology that just we're not quite familiar with, things we have no idea about, but there do seem to be some Prothean remnants. There's just not much that we could, even with, you know, the makeshift batteries and the power that we tried to run into it, there's not too much we could pull from it, aside from, like, the lights, and that's pretty much it here and there. Not even the whole area. There were whole chunks missing from the ships, and, well, you'll see. But, there were these.
If I may add, on the station, we were only able to explore a small bit of it. It was either a training facility, research facility. It kind of had. It's hard for us to know too much about the Prothean tech, but we did encounter husks that we believe the Protheans might have either been experimenting on, or the Reapers did something there. There was some Reaper tech, so just be warned. We did have to fight some things. There will be some remnants of the fights we had on there, and I'm not 100% sure that we cleared that out, so be prepared for some kind of husk hybrids that, like, I've never seen before, and who knows what on that thing, but I don't believe it to be safe even now. Sorry for interrupting.
No, it's a lot to remember, so I appreciate the detail.
Commander
those may
Lena
exist
chiming in
elsewhere too, but-
at this point because of what was said. So you say that no, it makes sense. Commander Lena would chime in and say, "You say not safe even as of now. What do you mean by not safe? You think there's more of these husks over there? You think there's more Reaper beasts that will have to be put down?"
Well, we docked at one section of the space station and explored a few different parts of it, but there's collapsed stairwell and other sections that we just couldn't verify there was nothing at. The prison system or experiment station or whatever the fuck it was, I think it's cleared out, but these things seem to have some kind of magnetic capabilities, almost like our boots. They could have been running the outside for the station for all I fucking know. There was a barrier around the station I'm not sure that we fully understand. either that made it to where we needed to drive in very slowly. So there's just some unknown things. I'm sure you all have a lot more understanding of Prothean tech than we do, but I would just recommend flying in slow and keeping your gun at the ready. Who knows what other traps, protocols that either the Protheans had set up for the Reapers. I mean, there's signs of Frait was looking around, the signs of Reaper blasts where they had attacked the station. We encountered between the husks and whatever the other. I don't even know how to describe the other thing to you. It was
You'll
some
have
kind
Strix kind of lean in. Don't forget about the nanites.
Yeah, a little bug thing. I don't know. Just
They were repairing quite a decent amount of the ship.
keep your head on a swivel in there. It had some amount of power left. We managed to power it back up briefly, or maybe it still is. I don't know. But the whole thing is a goddamn mess, and I just can't safely say that we fully cleared it all out. We did what we could, but there were 4 of us, and at some points an overwhelming force coming at us. We were lucky we got off there with our lives, so I hope it's safe and clear for you all, but I wouldn't assume it is.
The matriarch will kind of like lean back and be like, interesting, but certainly still much more to be learned from inside of there. And Alina would then look to Zenestthea and say, should we even keep that station around, or should that thing just be handled? If there's still more of that in there, if there's still more of a concern in there, perhaps we should just blow the thing up. And before Zenny can even respond, though I imagine she's going to, the matriarch chimes in and says, I don't even know why you would suggest that. The amount of information we can get off of that station, the technology alone, let alone what data could be inside of their the servers that are there if they're not completely corrupted. That station has survived over 50,000 years of maintaining orbit. There is nothing that we have that could do that now after being attacked like that. And Alina, looking to the matriarch, says, with all due respect, matriarch, we're talking about Asari lives we could be sending in there and ending. She says, and she says, with all due respect, how many Asari lives could we be saving with the information that we'd find there? Rena, at this point, if you wanted to interject, or anybody else.
I don't know if she would. I think she would just listen for right now to their conversation.
The adults
she wants
are
to hear their
talking.
opinion.
Cool. So if you don't interject, then after that, what's her name? Alina would turn to you and say, Zenestthea, do you think it should be destroyed, or do you think it should be kept?
I think that if there's technology to be used against the Reapers, then that's the whole point of why we came here in the first place, is it not?
She
I recognize the dangers of that. Obviously, there's much we don't know, though it would seem pointless to not even try after we've come so far.
She nods, like agreeing, like taking what you're saying and choosing to agree with you. And the matriarch leans forward and says, the wise choice. I can see why it was that you were selected to handle this job. Well, then, with that settled, is there anything else on that platform that we should be aware of? Anything else that we should know that we wouldn't pick up from the ship scan that we talked about?
So out of game here, real quick. There were 3 sections that we were able to access from where we docked, but there was still more station that we didn't access, right?
Yeah, but like, yes. The simple answer is yes. I just wasn't wasting your time with boring shit.
Yeah. Okay. Graff won't say anything unless like Zenestthea turns. At this point, he feels like he's already overstepped.
Okay. So they asked if there was anything else at that place worth noting, and Rena, you could simply say no.
Would the ship have picked up the for lack of a better term, we're calling it the goo, like the material or whatever? Because that was like, there were a bunch of broken canisters that had like spilled in that whole section of the ship. Is that something that that would have
It's too
scanned, or that
personal
wouldn't have shown
level.
up?
That would you would have to tell them about that.
You talking about
Or
the
you keep it to
EZO?
yourself.
The EZO that leaked
No,
out, or
the
something
the
else?
memory,
Oh,
like
that
like
goo.
goop. Because I still have a canister. But she was probably just gonna mention, because I mean, if they go there, they're gonna see it, and then they're gonna be like, "Oh my god, don't touch it! It's like dangerous or whatever." But I think she'll give them the heads up and just say,
There was only one fully intact canister. Oh, you're talking about the creatures that you fought, not the thing that you found.
yeah, whatever room that was, that like, because I
'Cause
have
the
a
thing that you
canister, the
found
one
is
canister
separate-
that's
is
still
separate.
intact.
That's separate from the creatures that you fought. That's a different thing.
Well, I thought
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
the same
Well,
thing.
one is glass with metal on the ends. I described it as being like the ooze from like the Ninja Turtles or whatever. And then the other one was like these metal structures that had ooze inside of it that was eeping out of it, but there was no
Well, that
glass
yeah,
to
I
it.
remember that, but I'm not talking about that.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind then.
Okay.
Then I guess we probably already told them about everything. The nanites being the biggest problem,
If you
probably.
stop there, Graff would interject one more time. I think at that point, just out of like an obligation. We did try to somewhat patch the power station back, and we tried to explore it a little bit, leaving zero grav, not even using our boots. It's very unstable and prone to collapse in a moment. So I would say try to navigate through at least the. Well, he'll kind of like, I don't know, bring up an image or like show something where it's like this section here, this bridge, not exactly safe, and the bridge on this one was out, so you kind of have to navigate this way. Just explaining like how they did it. So I'm sure you guys are more equipped to do that kind of shit than we were, but just the whole station's ready to collapse at any moment, and I'm sorry to interject again, Zenestthea. I just felt an obligation to share the safety things of what we figured out. Giant hole
No,
in the prison
please.
area as well. One of the bigger husks, I'd never seen anything quite like it before, got launched down the hole. It could have possibly reattached and walked around. I don't think it did. I think we saw that fucker floating around later, but again, the way that they were able to kind of attach, that's all.
So kind of taking up that there's like they give some a response to you and thanking you for your additions here, and then they say, so the platform is a place of concern. Understood. Anything else we won't be able to get from the scans? Did you visit any of the planets, the moons, any other areas?
Just this main planet, Samara. It's got a biotic shield of sorts. But even on the planet itself, the fauna, the flora are all... They seem to react to biotic only. For example, when Frait and Graff were near some of the plants and things we were walking through, I should say, they didn't quite have the same effect on them as they did with Strix and I. See, when I got near them, they started growing. Kind of onto me. I have no explanation for why. But needless to say, I got out of that pretty quickly. We were wary not to touch anything beyond that. But as we walked through it, they seemed kind of drawn to us, as well as the shield. That seems to harm us quite a great deal.
Do not take the shields down. It'll attack your Ezo core. And if you're all biotic like Zen is, it fucked her up pretty good. And Strix found a way to manipulate the biotic barrier with his biotic brain powers or something. So maybe there's a way to learn to manipulate it, but I don't think that that's something I would risk on a first, second, third, or 100th pass myself. So it's just that the barrier, we don't understand it, but it almost took Zen out when we flew through it without the shields up. So the shields will be attacked, but that's better than the people on the ship. Sorry, again.
Everybody roll a insight check as I give a response. What's that, Messy?
Could we, for just simplicity's sake, have like a copy of all the scan data we got from the probes
Yes.
from each planet? Like,
Yes.
okay, I would just hand that over if we hadn't already.
All that's being done already.
Okay,
That was
that's
part of the
scanned
beginning
on the
of
ship.
the RP.
Okay, good. I just want to make sure I didn't miss it. I did.
Oh,
miss it,
Zenny, there was
so-
a normal one, not an advantage for you.
Oh, sorry. I thought. Never mind.
Oh, good.
Anybody doing a luck die?
Not worth it for me.
I could
but
get it up that over that 20
I'll try.
again.
You're the only one that rolled anywhere decent.
Oh,
19.
only 19.
Rena, you can see that, what's her name? Commander Alina says, interesting, reacts to biotics, seeming to go towards them, and some amount of manipulation over a barrier. Needless to say, that's dangerous, potentially even more dangerous than... She takes a breath and says, I'm very excited to explore the system, but it seems as though perhaps we've bitten off more than we can chew. There's a lot of research that's going to need to be done, and I imagine there's some more work that we can have with a group of you to help us along in it. But as she's saying that, you can see that the matriarch, with almost like a glint in her eye, she seems uncharacteristically quiet. Like when you talked about these details, almost like she knows more about it, and so she's trying not to be noticed than she's letting on. It's specifically Zenestthea that picks this up.
I would notice her more then, because I mean I've spent years talking to the commander, so she already pretty much knows like what the commander's kind of thinking. Like, oh, okay, we got a lot ahead of us, blah blah. So she's like listening, but kind of paying more attention to the matriarch.
Sure.
And
If you don't say,
she would say something probably to her, and like in response to the commander, but like to the matriarch. Like, I agree. It would seem that there's a lot more to this than we originally expected.
if you're saying that to the matriarch, she would notice that you're saying it to her, and she would say, yeah, perhaps we should spend our time investigating. We don't want to take any chances of someone getting hurt, of course. You said non-biotics seem to be safer? Then perhaps we should start with non-biotics to investigate the situation. Keep the chances of greater danger contained. As the commander here suggested, perhaps there is more work to be had for at least your companions in that regard as well. And then she
The more information that we can gather on this system, the easier it'll be to find the things that are going to be useful to us. And that's kind of more pointed, but still, like, I'm giving you a second chance here, like, to say something.
So I love the fact that you're being so pointed to her, because it means I have to tip my hand a little. So she actually will. You can pick up very quickly, very easily, to the point where who got the second highest here? Oh no, everybody else was trash. Never mind, nobody else gets anything. So it's pointed enough that you very easily pick up that she rapidly changes the subject. She goes, indeed, well, on to other matters. You had scanned the area, all this talk of Ezo and the like. Did we find any of value here? Which is, again, very pointed that you picked this up because it's shit you're going to get off the fucking scans. You already know that that's information that she's going to have. But she says, all these, indeed, all these reactions to Ezo, did you find any in the system? Perhaps value can be brought to, can be found and help fund future endeavors into the system.
It's just whatever we found on the space station, right? So far. Okay,
No,
yeah,
there was Ezo on the
no.
moons around Samara.
Oh, the moons too.
And then we
so-
found the mining facility on Dillanaga
But
that we think was
she-
platinum and palladium, but we don't
She's
know.
gonna get all this from the ship scan anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Right. I'm just.
Right.
I was just confirming, so I know what to say to her.
Yep.
Right. Yeah, that we found in multiple locations, but that should all show up on the scans. It's pretty straightforward.
Oh,
Luckily.
right. Of course you are. Those will show up on the scans.
At this point, is she acting sketchy to us too? Because it sounds like even though our insights were shit, this seems like it seems out of character for Zenestthea to me, and it seems out of she's all of a sudden
You might realize Zenestthea is being pretty pointed, like she was holding on to a subject for like 3 questions in a row, but not enough to, you don't know the matriarch well enough or their politics well enough to know that something was off there. So maybe you could be like, oh, it was weird. Zenestthea like push the same point 3 questions in a row. She rarely does that, right?
Yeah.
But so moving past that, Alina, who seemed to not pick up on that, she then says, well, as I said, we have some problems. Now, these big floating things that you mentioned before, we got to gun those things down, or can we avoid them?
She's talking about the, like, whatever structures
manatee.
on Samara. Oh, the manatees. Oh, they seem territorial, but we didn't try getting close enough to test that. So I couldn't say for sure how aggressive they really are.
We can avoid whatever's their home is. At least for now, there's no reason to add more problems to our plate. Well, we brought a large crew with us, and certainly a capable crew. This dreadnought is more than armed to handle space cows, if you will. So I'm not concerned about it. Chief concern is going to be looking into Samara, and secondly, that station. So, unless you have more details to add, I think this is everything we could ask of you. I assume the group of you is going to be sticking around for another couple more weeks to help us look into these details further.
You'll just hear Strix say weeks.
There's a lot to look into. And besides, you seem to have a unique ability to manipulate this barrier. Perhaps we want your help in it.
I'm starting to feel more like myself than I have the last couple of days, and all I want to do is distance myself from this place.
She looks at you and says, that might be the case, but you are getting paid well. So I'd hope that you'd stay a little bit longer. And this is Alina being a little pointed about it to you.
To which she'd probably, like, Zen would probably respond and say, just a little while. We'll discuss more thoroughly, but I think for now we're all quite exhausted as exploring Samara itself has kind of taken it out of us, myself especially.
And we could probably use a restock on some supplies if you all can spare them. Fuel, food, and the like. Kind of burned through a lot, moving around planet to planet to get the scans that we got for y'all. We were a little bit nervous about, I think it was Calicia, the Prothean ships and the atmosphere and the storms and such going on. I'm sure there's probably as much, if not more, information to be gleaned from all of those as there is the space station, but we just didn't want to risk our little ship when they're trying to dock on fast-flying ships. You guys will probably note this when you check the scans, but Irissa also is not the gas giant I think we thought it was. There appears to be large tunnels and such on the ground. Don't know what that means.
That.
Okay. Other than that, some materials here and there, but again, that's all on the chip scans we got for you. As far as I'm concerned, we'll talk about our plan as a team, but likely if Zen wants to stick around, then we'll find a way to stick around, but it has been a very taxing trip, and encountering Reapers and, Reaper tech and husks and whatnot on that space station was, well, we almost didn't make it out of there, so I'm with Strix. Getting some distance sounds nice, but if the mission's not done, we'll stick it through, assuming everyone's on board with that.
With that, the matriarch is going to stand up and kind of like claps her hands, crossed in front of her, because you do have Zenestthea giving her a more intense, like a more boring kind of look as she's like watching her more closely. She pointedly like avoids Zenestthea's gaze, but again, this Zenestthea very obviously picks up. The rest of you do not, and she says, Well, then with that, fuel will be had, repairs will be made, rest will be provided, and we will see to it that we have future plans put in order. Discuss amongst yourselves, but as the commander here so graciously suggested, you are being well compensated for the work that you have already done and are likely going to continue to do for us. Cooler heads shall prevail. Let us take time to find them. Thank you all for joining with us. Thank you all for what you've provided thus far. Excited to see what we can discover as our time together continues to grow. May the goddess watch over you. And that's like her. There's no more discussion. Goodbye.
That's her little
Right,
spiel.
which she'd return the sentiment and kind of maybe give the commander like just a quick look as she walks away. Not that she'd necessarily pick up on that, but then she would go to leave to find accommodations or wherever.
Oh, were you trying to talk to the commander, or you were just giving her a look as you were leaving?
Oh, if I could, but not right now.
Oh, because the
That's
matriarch
what
was the
you're
one
saying.
walking out. The commander was staying.
The commander can catch you later, and Rena, you
Yeah,
can
that
choose to have the
seemed like
party be a
that
part of
kind
that
of thing.
conversation. Yeah.
Right.
Cool.
Right. I assumed
So-
that's what was happening.
So you guys more or less leave this area. I don't know if you want to have any inter-party chat before you, so many hours later, have a commander chat to which you're welcome to invite others. So as you guys leave and you're provided like rooms, because your party is close knit, as opposed to what happened beforehand, where you were on a planet and you had like lots of stretching area. In this area, they're gonna bring you over to kind of like a small, because a large dreadnought like ship like this is going to have areas in it, segments inside of it that are meant for like ambassadors and the like to stay inside. So there's going to be one central room, like it's going to have like a door in a hallway is going to open up to a central room that has like a nice beautiful plant growing inside of it with some like sitting areas around it, a small little kitchenette area off to the side. It's like a really serene, comfortable looking living room. So if you've ever lived in a studio before, like living room / kitchen / dining area with a big beautiful plant growing inside of it, great decor, blah blah blah, with several doors coming off of it. 4 of those doors go to bedrooms, and one of them goes to it's like a quiet reading area, like what would be like an office if somebody wanted to have like private phone calls or what have you. So it's like 5 doors coming off of it. This is going to be this area where your crew is welcome to stay while you're on the dreadnought. So you all have your own bedroom, bathroom, shower situation, a communal room, and then like a more private kind of officey room. So here, once you showed this area and kind of like the Asari that leads you here and gets you comfortable, will then kind of like turn and leave and allows the crew to discuss amongst yourselves about the meeting you just had.
Is this... I mean... Is like paranoid to be like, is the room bugged? You know what I mean?
To think that the Dominion is bugging the room would
I don't think
be a bit
so. I
paranoid.
feel like that goes against... Yeah, I feel like that goes against what they... But I wasn't sure because, again, like, I'm not as familiar with Mass Effect, so I'm not sure, like...
No. You're fine.
if somebody's
And then-
trying to be sus, like, you know, especially politically, like, why wouldn't they? But...
I want to just finish to answer the question for you. To think that Dominion did that to you, and you are part of the crew, so that would be to you, would be a bit paranoid. To think that the Asari government would do that to you, maybe before the campaign started, I would say to be a bit paranoid, but after everything your characters experienced, all the checks that you've made, the successes you've had along the way, maybe a bit less paranoid. It is important to note that this is a Dominion ship, but a solid like 10% of the people on it are here as part of the Asari government, not Dominion. So I will leave that up to you, Rena, as to whether or not you think that that would be a problem. Dominion ship, they likely wouldn't do it to you. Up to you.
I mean, is there harm in looking?
I was gonna say,
I don't think there's harm in looking
We saw
necessarily.
you on the
Messi.
cameras looking for cameras.
No, I think the harm is if Zenestthea would want to stoke that kind of paranoia in the rest of the crew, because that would have a lasting effect, whereas just looking for a camera is not intrinsically bad, but making the rest of you paranoid about looking for cameras might be. Sorry, go ahead, Rena.
Then I mean, it's a discussion then.
Please.
So she might say. That was odd. I don't know if you all picked up on that.
The
As she looks
debrief?
at your blank faces, she's like, okay, I'm assuming not. No, I'm talking about, well, just that she seemed off, didn't she? Not the commander.
The matriarch?
Yeah, just a little,
Politicians always
She's-
seem off to me, so I couldn't tell you.
Is she not always like that?
I mean, from what I can remember, well, and actually, I think I'd have to confirm with Scott, but I think this is the first time meeting this matriarch. It might be a new one since the last time I was there, but, I'll change what I'm gonna say. She just, when we were explaining the things that we found, especially, the conversation about whether or not to keep the space station around. Obviously, I made that decision. I mean, you three seem to agree that there was technology that to be used against the Reapers that we could, I don't know, utilize somehow and make into something that's going to not make every war against the Reapers exactly the same. Then that's what we want to use, right? But her response to that, when the commander said, you know, is that something that we should even keep around? And I said that I thought it was a good idea. The matriarch, seemed like she perhaps already knew about certain aspects of it. I couldn't say what for. I
Okay.
couldn't say what exactly, but it seems like there's more that she knows that she's not letting on. And so I kind of tried to give her an opportunity to speak on it, but she dodged my questions. So, and I don't know. I mean, only a fraction of the ship is from the Asari government. The ship itself is Dominion, and everyone else here is Dominion. And I'd like to think that I could trust them.
I
But
see. I think you want us to just take a look around and make sure we're going to be comfortable here, so that the next couple of weeks can go by smoothly.
I'd say clearly we have.
He'll
some
like give you a
conversations
look that's
to be
implying like,
had.
got it. Okay. Well, relax, stretch your legs. For right now, I'll take a look around real quick and, make sure we can be comfortable. He'll like look to you, Freight, and then like give you a look. It's like we're gonna be looking around for. I don't know if you'll understand, but he'll give you like symbols, like
He nods and smiles, and then rolls his eyes. And,
you roll your
And
eyes and
he-
Graff's like he looks at you for a minute, like, was that? Oh,
he's got just black eyes, right? So, it's not like you really see anything. It's not like you would even know.
gloss a little weird. Scott, is
you
it
see
an
the-
investigation to look around for bugs?
Yes, it's exactly that. It's investigation, but you'd be rolling with advantage. The two people that are skilled in it can both roll with advantage if both of them are looking, because I imagine everybody's helping.
Not just one of us, but both of us can roll with advantage.
Both that
Yeah,
are
I can-
proficient can go ahead.
You
I
go
can-
first, Wade.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
I have to roll a lot higher. Okay, I
And
rolled
you
higher.
did. Do you want to luck to try to get to 25? Or are you happy with 23?
Yeah, all right. 26.
All right. That's sexy. So you guys look around, search the area for various cameras and the like, and you find no cameras inside there. More importantly, you find no microphones inside there as well. There seems to be 0 recording devices that were put inside of this room. So while you were paranoid, Your paranoia was just led to wall panels being removed and somebody dropping the fucking screws and having to find. Oh, 26. Okay. You found all the screws and were able to put them back in.
I guess we'll wrap it up. Unless someone else says something during the search. Graff would open. Well, seems
you-
like this area is good. Speak more plainly, Zen. What's your concern here? Obviously, the commander and the matriarch seemingly have different agendas. One political, one I would say military, but the commander seems to have more. Sorry if this is offensive, but more humanity to her, more authority. I don't know, compassion. I'm not a fucking wordsmith. I'm a pilot, and a soldier. Give me a goddamn break.
I understand your meaning. And I agree. The commander tends to put the safety of others above all else, which I certainly commend her for. And I agree with both of them. That's what makes this difficult. To me, it seems nonsensical to withhold any kind of information when it comes to such an unknown system like this. If we have information and can piece it together and come up with something that's actually going to help everybody, then why wouldn't we do that? I've had this weird feeling for a while, though, that unfortunately not everyone can be trusted. I apologize for making you search the room with me. I wouldn't normally be so paranoid. I mean, you all know how sensitive this information is.
After
Just give it to the
Saren,
wrong
there were
person.
some situations where people weren't trusted. People were accusing each other of being indoctrinated, shit like that. You didn't know who to trust. There's been a lot of paranoia. It never hurts to make sure you're actually working for the people you think you are. But let's go back to what you were saying before. You think the matriarch already has some knowledge of this place? Do you think there was an expedition sent in that we don't know about? Do you think
Perhaps maybe there's a VI that they had access to. Maybe there's some other logs or some other information they just chose not to share with us. I'm not sure. It could be anything. But based on what I witnessed in those memories and the information that we got from the Prothean VI when we spoke to him, it was unsettling. I mean, they were using the Reaper tech and they were the indoctrinated who were just getting worse just by being near the Reaper tech, and I don't know, it was just, there's a lot to it, and clearly a lot that we don't know.
based on most of the Reaper tech hopefully being removed from that station, I mean, hopefully having them look that over is the right call. If the matriarch already knew about some of the stuff on the planet, I guess that raises a couple questions. One, what the fuck were we sent in for if she already knew? And two,
Crowd control, probably.
how did she find out? So, and if so the Dominion and the matriarch is part of what, the government? Is that how it works? And the Dominion is not the government; it's a separate entity. I should know this shit, but
No, you're right. The
okay.
government is separate from the Dominion.
So maybe it's time you talk to your friend if you think you can trust her. Which, I mean,
Yes.
I didn't get a weird vibe off
Commander.
either one, but maybe fill her in on those theories and see what she thinks. Because to be frank with you, I don't know shit about the matriarch or the Asari beyond what I've already shared, and well, we're not in a, from what I can tell, compromised situation in here. So
But we do know that we don't want to give someone in power the ability to control
yes,
others. In the
I
same
think
way
we
that they did
definitely
to the
don't want
Protheans.
that. We agree on that front. But if we're going to be continuing to do some work, I'd like to know that we're not just being thrown into a fucking fire.
No, I agree. I have every intention of speaking with her. I just wanted to speak to you all first.
You boys have any thoughts on it?
I don't follow politics closely, but keeping more power away from those who already have a good deal seems smart to me.
I'm not sure. If the Asari end up being a powerhouse that are able to defeat the Reapers once and for all, then we should let them. Might go the way as every other race. Fall flat on their face and extinct all of us.
Big
Don't really know.
picture,
Time will
sure.
tell.
And I'm used to being an ant. That's what being a soldier is sometimes, right? You're told to follow orders. You go out, you get your leaf, you come back to the fucking answer. Never mind. You follow orders. But like I said, during the Reaper War and after Saren and everything else, you started to wonder which side you were serving sometimes, because not all orders make sense, and they're not supposed to when you're... If you're getting a bad reading, I would talk to the commander if you trust the commander, and maybe we take her advice on the matter. But trust your gut, Zen.
No matter what happens, I trust your judgment as well.
You guys are trusting.
We came here for her and her cause, no?
We've been
I
through
follow
this shit.
this lumpsy guy, but I
When we
owe
were
him a debt.
chasing down that Quarian and everything else, y'all were another temporary job, but after the station and laying our lives on the line for each other, that's when bonds are fucking built. So my perspective changed recently with y'all. This is no longer a you guys are here for one job, fuck y'all, never see you again. I trust y'all with my life, and I'd lay down mine for you at this point, because we've already shown that. And when your bonds are forged in hell, they usually last a long time. So if we're gonna be putting the shit, I want to make sure it's the right shit for the right reasons, and we're not just being thrown to fucking die. Because for your all's sake, that doesn't sit good with me.
Probably just not along.
Same with Strix.
Sincerely, though, just to clarify.
Ultimately, if we together can do anything to stop the Reapers or make it less devastating, I feel like it's worth it. So, I don't think I could ask for a better team. So I appreciate you for trusting me.
We do work quite well together, don't we?
It
We'll
could
get
use some
there.
work, but the
I agree. You
motion's
cannot
there.
go down when fighting weird zombie robots.
No, I hope the room's bugged.
He'll give out like a hearty laugh.
Yeah.
So do we rest or we have more to do?
I think for
I
now-
wouldn't mind.
Rest.
Do they have stores around here? I'd like to restock on some
There is a mini fridge.
ammo, Metagel.
There is a mini fridge with some little tiny alcohol bottles.
We'll get to all of that. Don't worry. They're likely restocking the ship as we speak, actually.
Hopefully I'll dig
yeah.
through my stuff.
Sure, if you all want to rest first, that's fine. You can tell Graff's like, I'd rather get my shit done, make sure my bases are covered, but like if the party's tired, he'll like yeah.
Plus, look at this place. It's huge. And she'll like wander off.
It's almost the size of your whole ship with all the... This is better, nicer, in like every way. You can alter the atmosphere in your room specifically, so it's more comfortable when the door shuts at night and you sleep. So it's like, this is the smell of the Kushibashi station, you know. The smell of what is it? Like a fucking Vorsha
space
feet.
dumpster.
Yeah, right. Just like home.
Space junkyard. Look, Strix, it's space junkyard.
Oh my god. It just
Rena, did you-
I like.
Did you need to speak to the commander? So the commander.
I think we could save that for next time.
All right, that is perfectly fine. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to finish up this session. But more importantly than finishing up this session, we're actually finishing up your mom.
No! My mom's in the other room.
He didn't mean
No!
it. It's okay. He's
No,
just
it's
joking.
fine, it's fine.
Mom,
okay.
run!
So
Take Milo. Get out of here.
Run, you fool! Run!
I'll hold him
We're-
off as long as I can.
We're
I look
finishing
like
up this
Wade. Watch the second
season.
one.
We're finishing up this this season for the game. So obviously we're off next week. I'm gonna be in Maine. I'm gonna be literally in a trailer. I'm borrowing a camper. That's not a trailer, a camper. I'm borrowing a camper. We're going to Maine for a week. I won't be able to stream off of a laptop, off of actually a MacBook Air. I won't be able to stream off of that in a camper. So the week after that, we'll come back with season 2 of the Mass Effect series.
Woo!
During the time that we're gone, a couple of things are going to happen. One, we're going to do a couple of week time hop, which is going to be an exciting thing for the party. And 2, the party's actually going to level up. I believe they're level 4 right now. No, 4 right now. So when we come back starting season 2, we're going to have
Level
them be
5's a
level
fun
5. Yeah,
you had
5
my
is a fun one.
attention, but now you have my erection.
Wade actually has 2 attacks at level 5, which is exciting.
Shit. I meant super attention. Election
So
Oh,
you
for
have my
you
vote.
as DM next season 2. Yeah, vote for Scott.
we're
DM,
voting for a new
season 2.
DM.
Well, he's
Fun-
the only one running. He wins. Woo! Yay! I'm gonna
The
move
only
on.
one ready.
fun fact for everybody, this system, so obviously opening the campaign or whatever, that was my design, so on and so forth, but this system that is here, this is actually created by one of the highest tier patrons. Abusive Snaga hopped into that tier for a little while, and he created the system. Obviously, like, he mentioned that there was a Prothean space station, but the details within the monsters, so on and so forth, that was all me. He mentioned the planets and some details about them, but he had no fucking clue about plants that are growing towards people or anything like that. So he actually designed something really exciting here, and I take that and I run with it to make it so that it's as much as they had a huge part in building the campaign and building something for the party to explore, it's also I run with it so every session is still exciting for them, because he gets to like see it unfold, see his baby come to life, but more importantly, it's still different. It's not like I knew what was going to happen in the book, so I knew it was going to happen in the movie. It's like, no, it's a completely different experience. There was another patron that hopped onto that tier for a little while, which is Storm Pineapple, and I'm excited to see us exploring the area that was made by then. I bring this up in case anybody else is ever interested. If you have an idea for a system or planets or what have you that you want to interject into the world, there are guidelines, there are rules to it, but there are, that way it doesn't become something obnoxious or ridiculous, but you can also impact what the party kind of like travels through if you're interested. And able. But otherwise, I had a lot of fun this season. This is a really good introduction to the party. They didn't fucking know each other. 2 of the PCs didn't know the fucking worlds. The other 2 PCs are entering a part of Mass Effect they never experienced. And now, like, literally that was a really, we were all talking about as a party, like off stream, how do you end a season not at the space station? That was so fucking climactic. But whereas this session was like very mellow, at the same time there was like a little bit of shit here, and then Rena and Wade and Messi and Pat like kind of like
That's
pulling
everybody.
together with that like that feels good thing at the end. That was like, it was a nice little ending. It was like a little cherry on top of it. Like, you're here for the
So-
ice cream, but that was a nice
What
little
you're
cherry on
saying
top.
is we should have ended last week.
No, it's not at all what I said.
Exactly. What
It was
What
the
you're
first
saying
section of the
is-
space station that was like that was the alien one. You're in the shit, the xenomorphs crawling around. It's super fucking terrifying. Like, that was the space sci-fi horror session that was just like a totally different vibe than what we've had. The Reaper one was scarier for me in the meta than it was for our characters, I think, in the combat. The combat got scary whenever like Strix went down, but we weren't nearly as dire as whenever you and I were like, get up, get up,
Yeah, fella,
Like-
we're finding Remnant 2 boss. Anyone get that reference? Yeah? Alright.
Yeah, but you and I both
me,
going
that's the
down and
Night
almost
Weaver.
being just Strix against 10 husks that were going to do double attacks on him nonstop. That one I felt like for our characters were closer to death than the Reaper one, but obviously the Reaper one, when you're fighting anything Reaper related, was just like... And then having
Yeah,
the
no,
VI be the third section was really cool because it was just a different thing. It actually got to let Rena shine for a bit rather than us in our combat skills.
Fun fact, if you guys went to that station before you went to the other one, you would have encountered nothing. It would have just been a big, broken, dead station with nothing inside it whatsoever.
Oh, because no power.
Because there's no power, so there would have been nothing there. So you guys, even if you went out of order, you just would have gone to the area with no power. So once you finally got the power back online, you'd be like, oh my God, let's go back to the area that was empty. Maybe there's something there now. And then you would have, like, so I had planned for that. I wasn't sure which way I wanted you to do it. And I pre-named the maps too. So map was like, derelict left, derelict right, derelict down on the maps that I had set up. So it was
Of
funny
course
that
you'd
you went-
name the sections after yourself. Is that your YouTube channel? Derelict?
Right. Yeah. Oh, no, no, what? I hate
Got
you.
him.
Dick Rail. Sorry, my bad.
Was it Dick Rail? That sounds right.
Yeah.
That's his.
That's
new
where you
channel.
guys can go find like Aurorum and Remnant or whatever the other one's called. Over
No,
on
that's
Dick
the
Rail.
Video game. You're thinking of the video game's Remnant.
Oh. That's cool though. I'm glad we did the order that we did.
Yeah.
Did we did we miss a whole lot in the prison section since we didn't have the power on before we went to that one?
No.
Because
if
of the
prison
battery?
section, yeah, if the prison section, correct, because of the battery thing, because I don't remember who had the brilliant idea, and then Strix pulled it off or whatever, but that because of the battery, you got that, and then the other thing I was going to say is you could have used the turrets. They would have helped you for 2 rounds and then literally exploded and potentially harmed you after that. So I was gonna have the turrets potentially assist you in the fight and then
okay.
literally blow up. But it didn't matter because you just muscled your way through that one. So yeah, that was fun.
That was really cool though. Snaga, that was a fun system. I think it was really interesting. I don't remember, I played Mass Effect so long ago, I don't remember seeing a planet that has like its own biotic shit going on. I don't recall happening. Maybe it did.
Thessia is every creature on Thessia is biotic in some way or another.
Okay.
There's even Ezo in the plants. And
Do you go to
whatnot.
Thessia in the games?
Yeah. Actually, especially the third game that's where you find out about the VI that the Asari government has been secretly using to stay ahead of all the other species for thousands of years.
What?
So-
Don't spoil it.
I mean,
Spoiler.
Curious about the tunnel planet, but also that sounds fucking awful. Because I can't imagine anything that digs giant ass tunnels will be fun to encounter. So
hey,
while I'm
tunnels,
curious,
also occur naturally.
sure,
You guys ever hear about the tunnel snakes?
yeah, that was like Vault 26 or something.
They rule.
Like Jaw.
They were the Vault of Doyles.
I am. Oh God, both of you guys, those terrible references. Those are Wade. That was bad. Ow, my soul.
Wait, I was
I have
okay.
I have a lot of reading to do these next 13 days, and a lot of communication to have with Pineapple to make sure I understand what another system is going to be like. But I also have my own stories I'm going to tell and whatnot. So I'm excited for next season. I'm excited for you guys to be level 5.
Yeah, I'm
Level
curious
5's
to
gonna be
see
great
if
for
we end up
Wade.
doing more here or if we leave here and come back here again later. Because it sounds like there's more to do here, but also for our character sakes, I think they're like, dude, give me civilization. We just got so fucked. I need Omega.
We need a break. Yeah.
It also kind of sucks that we're so Paragon. Like if we were evil, man, that information we got, we could have bought Omega Relay with the information we got.
I always forget at the end of the sessions, because it's not supposed to happen every session, to fucking award Paragon and Renegade. Have I awarded
don't
it
swear,
yet? I
dude.
feel like I did once.
We did one time.
Who's keeping track of it on their character sheet?
We're 9 Paragon,
Yeah,
2
9 and
Renegade.
2.
I don't remember when we
That's
got
right.
it last. I don't think it
guys
was
have
the
done-
space station one. Maybe it was.
You guys have done 0 Renegades so far. Give me half a tick to see how this goes. The Paragon Renegade bit. I gotta remember where this fucking is. Oh, here it is.
Dude, you're swearing again.
Eat
Did you
me.
stop? There are kids here.
Well, his channel's Dick Rail. What do you expect?
So over
respect.
the course of the entire season, you would have been able to get to because again, you've not done anything Renegade this entire time. It's kind of hilarious. I will give you 0 Renegade, and I meant to across the way give you 7 more Paragon. So you would actually be at 16 Paragon and 2 Renegade.
Okay.
You already
which is-
gave us 7. Last time you rewarded Paragon.
Not
gave us
7 because we had 2, 2, 1, and 1. So we already had, what is that, 6? We went to 9. We got 3.
What? Oh, okay.
We were at 9 Paragon, and we started off with I was 2
Oh, okay.
Paragon. I think Rena was 2 Paragon, and you each were 1 and 1. So that's
Then
6
that's
right
right.
there.
So you actually have, I'm throwing it inside of Twitch chat for you. This link right here, once you guys got to the 15, which you're at 17 now, once you get to the 15 as a party, you get to choose
17.
one of these powers, but because your Paragon Renegade is so sparse, it's actually chosen for you. Paragon is greater than or equal to 10, more than Renegade, right? So it's, or is it presence?
Where you're currently 14 more.
Yeah. So it's not obfuscate because that's what, yeah. So it's convince.
Convince.
So you as a party get a new feature. It is when you make a charisma persuasion check, you may add a d6 to the roll. You may benefit this between long rests. So not session, between long rests, a number of times equal to your charisma modifier. So the way that this is going to work is we're going to go based off of the highest person in the party's charisma modifier. So it's Rena.
Rena.
She has a 3. And you as a party share from this pool. We're not giving it to each individual player. So you as a party, your reputation as a group has allowed you to like people like recognize you, even if they don't, you still have the power, recognize you well enough that your word carries more weight than it otherwise would have. So 3 times per long rest, you can actually add a d6 to a persuasion check,
Damn,
which
that's
is pretty
powerful.
badass. Yeah. That's especially considering we have luck die in our games.
Yeah.
So like even Wade, who talks out his
0.
right big toe, he could in theory roll a 7.
Wait,
and
which
still
one?
use that one and get a 6 and a luck die and get a 4, and that's a 17. So
This one, but foot.
Which Wade? I'm confused.
Hi.
That one, but
Hey.
foot.
That sounds like Wade.
Pretty sure. What are you saying?
Oh no, I can't stand this.
Huh? Huh? Hi. Hey guys. Watch Distractable. See ya.
Oh, that's the real one. That's the real one.
I was gonna say, so speaking of Watch Distractable, that's all I have to say about the session. Unless you guys want to say anything else about the ME5E campaign, why don't we do a round robin and talk about anything exciting going on in your streams? So we could start with the captain herself, Zenestthea Nova. Is there anything exciting happening over in DeSantos Land?
I started playing WoW.
I'm sorry, that's a terrible game.
I know.
Are
how
you
but-
jumping to like the new content? Or are you playing like the 23-year-old content and like going through the early game? Like, is it fresh
Are
characters?
Are you looking at me? We're playing on
Yeah.
on retail, so we're just playing the base game.
Okay, so like the old graphics, the WoW that came out like in 2003 or whatever it was, like the
No,
original.
retail is the current update.
Oh, so you have higher level characters and you're playing on newer shit.
We're level 11.
I thought you. Okay, I forget how WoW works.
I
Like,
just
you can
started
start wherever.
though.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm a noob. But yeah, I just started. We started that this week. Probably play again tomorrow.
Do you like it?
I have thoughts about it.
I did too.
So the
I have
reason the reason we're playing it is because we're doing one new MMO a month. Sorry, a month. One new MMO a week for a month. We're just trying out a bunch of MMOs, and WoW was just kind of our baseline because that's the one that like has been around the longest. It's the one all MMOs are basically compared to. It's like the pinnacle MMO, the king of
Final
MMOs kind of
Fantasy
thing.
14 is like way cooler.
Yeah, that one's good too. So we have a list of like 4 or 5 MMOs that we're jumping through, and we're just starting with WoW. So we had our first session of WoW yesterday, and then our next session is tomorrow on Rena's channel. It's gonna be pretty fun. But after the first session, Rena and I had a long discussion about whether or not we need to keep going, because she really does not like it, and it's really it's
Specifically
one week.
WoW or MMOs in general.
No, just WoW.
You want to know
I've played
something
other
fun
MMOs.
in WoW?
WoW
That
is
Gar
so
introduced
bad.
me to a long time ago. Battle
Hmm.
pets. It's basically Pokemon in WoW that exists.
Battle pets.
Battle pets. That was
Hmm.
the most fun I had with WoW, was trying to do the battle pets. You just go around and like
Rena, allow me
play
to
Pokemon
translate.
and WoW.
Allow me to translate what Wade's saying to Boomer for you. A spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down. Medicine go down.
Just ignore the
I
game,
thought he
ignore
was
your
talking
character,
about-
and go play Battle Pets.
You
Raise up
talking
some
about
little
Poker
weird.
Mans?
Yes.
Pokemans. Pocket monsters.
No, that one's
Okay.
actually real.
WoW is now. If you were WoW, I'd rather play Ultima Online from fucking 1995 than play WoW. Like
Well,
We
that's
had
because
to
of
we had to
nostalgia.
start there. We needed a base for like our MMO month, and people voted for it on our Patreon. So
It was the pillar on which
sounds like your
MMOs were
patrons
built.
are dumb people. Like either that or they
no,
hate
there.
you.
Take that back.
God damn.
Because like, they're like
Oh, yeah,
Guild
and
Wars
also-
2, Guild Wars 2, lots
Oh
of
yeah,
fun.
I love Guild
right?
Wars 2. I love Guild
Like
Wars
that-
2. It's so good.
What
But,
a dick
okay.
rail.
Rena is playing a human warrior named Rena.
Hey, look! I can't
Is she
help
a
it when
destroyer?
I
Is
picked
she a
this beef.
destroyer?
No, she is.
Does she use a great axe?
Yeah, she's gonna use dual axis, but this is the thing. Literally, I clicked on the, not even she was just the first default character. Like I did new character, and then it was on like the male body or whatever. So I clicked on the female body, and boom, there was Rena like right in front of me. I was like, oh.
I just want you to know that's not random. It's always human warrior. That's always the first thing you see when you
No,
hit new
but
character.
the
It was
way she
fate.
looked exactly like her. It looked exactly like her. So I was like, I gotta do
Oh,
it.
it's a woman with an axe. Yes,
So-
because it's
and,
always
and white hair, bro. What the fuck?
okay. That's right.
Is there a scaly race that you can invite Tyler to come play with you guys?
We
Yes,
bought the
there is.
dragon DLC, so there was a dragon class that we want to try out.
No, Tyler has to get the Dragon DLC so he can.
Well, I'll
Dragon
you.
D's
ask
nuts.
Tyler about it.
Got him,
Tyler-
bro.
Did you, I don't know if you guys saw Tyler's tweet, but he's been in the hospital for like, he was in
Oh,
the
no,
hospital
I
for a
haven't.
couple of
Yeah,
days.
he messaged me like
No idea.
the night before, and he was like, "Hey, by the way, surgery in a few hours." I woke up the next day. I was like, "The fuck?" And he was like, "Yeah, man, I'm good. I'm drugged up. Life's good." I was like, "Oh, good. I'm glad it went well." I don't even know what the
Yeah,
fuck
I
he had
saw-
surgery on.
I didn't even
he
know. I'm not on
tweeted-
Twitter.
He tweeted a picture of himself like lying in the bed with like his arm has all these all the little injection, what are they called, the
IVs and
IVs in
stuff?
him, all the
IVs?
drips in him. Yeah, and he just took a picture of his
Dripping
arm and
in
he said something
Tyler.
like "I lived" or something like that, and I was like, what the fuck happened to Tyler? So I texted him and he was like, oh, it was just a routine surgery, and I said, oh, cool, thanks for the
Oh,
scare.
I've never
you know,
had
6
just a
months we get our
routine
dental cleanings.
surgery.
He gets a surgery.
I've also never had a
Routine
routine
surgery.
surgery. Like I had my
Routine.
wisdom teeth taken. I guess that technically counts. You
So
know,
crazy.
it's
I've never
oral
had a
surgery.
routine. I'll
Yeah.
need to stop copying Mark.
Yeah.
Did you say y'all
Anyway.
need to stop copying
That's
Mark?
what friggin'
I'm
Shadow
older
Crawler
than
said.
Mark, and I was in a hospital being born first, so I started the hospital trend in our friend group. So technically, Mark's copying me.
Oh wow.
He's
Cool.
capitalizing on it by putting videos and, you know,
Just change your name to the original Markiplier. That way everyone will find you.
that one we'll know.
OG
Well, I mean-
Markiplier.
He is your
Yes.
Wario. You were there first. Like that's you were not wrong.
And I'm
So-
taller, so even if he disagrees, I'm bigger than him.
Oh, sorry. Last thing I wanted to say about WoW is so she made a human warrior that has axes named Rena, and I made a human wizard, and I went down the ice path. So I am an ice mage, and I named myself Wade Saiyan because it looks like Wade with pink beards and sticky like spiky hair. So I look like I'm
What
a
about
Super
that
Saiyan.
looks like me?
Wait.
Literally
You made a
nothing. You
human
just named
ice
it Wade
mage?
Saiyan.
You didn't do Elijah?
No, that's what I said. I was
I
like, what?
wasn't
He's like, I
thinking-
basically made Elijah because he was like, I'm
Well,
just gonna pick what I like. And
So
then
it looks
she,
like,
like-
me if it didn't look
she-
if I didn't look like me.
It's you with hair but pink and
Is
as
it
a Super
because it's
Saiyan.
a
okay.
human?
Yes.
So Pat's me in real life. You're me in a video game. I
Well,
guess
to be fair,
imitation is the finest form of flattery or whatever the
I-
fuck. Sincerest
I was
form?
like, what class should I play? And everyone shouted mage, and I said a mage. Okay, I'll play a mage. So I clicked on a mage, and then I clicked on random, and I just kept clicking it until I got someone who looked really obscene. And then I was like, it looks like Wade if he was a Super
Obscene?
Saiyan. So that's what I made his name.
So when we play Crawl in Hell, we're gonna have it so
We're
that
never gonna
Elijah
play it.
has pink hair. Oh, 100% we are. That's
never
part of
gonna
that's
happen.
part of transitioning to Aurora 2.0 is we're doing all the we're doing a whole bunch of mini series. 100% we are. The first miniseries
We'll
is
see.
Crash the Gate. The next one will be Crawl in Hell. It's gonna be awesome. I'm excited
Crash
for
the
it.
gate. Wait, we did that.
No. They're going
Uh,
back.
This one's
they're
different.
finishing
They're
it.
going back.
Mortifer has an ability
Yeah, I know, I'm
called Gate
excited about it.
Crasher.
I wanted Rena to be a part of it, but she's already has shit going on in her life when we start that in 2 weeks or whatever it
You're
is.
doing stuff?
So
That's
Yeah.
crazy. I didn't know that.
Busy on
I wish Rena was
Oh.
like, it's just it was one of those things where even though Rena's character's not going, having Rena be a part of it would have just been cool because obviously, but
Yeah,
you have
yeah.
obligations or whatever. But it was just like
Yeah.
it would have been cathartic for you as a human. To call
Oh,
your therapist and be
100%.
like, just wanted to let you know it's all good now.
Hey, remember that weird D&D thing I told you about? Yeah, the nerdy game I play online.
Oh, you
with
mean
all
the thing I
my,
told you to stop
my
doing 'cause it was
imagination,
bad for your mental health?
imaginary friends. Yeah, that that thing.
Yeah. What about it?
Anyway, I got a bunch of closure today because I got to destroy the imaginary place where my imaginary character got traumatized for like a really long time.
Okay.
Some say
So it was
CX is
great,
still in
you
that
know?
bag.
Oh, he is. He is. The digestion period is slower than that of a I was going to say Snorlax.
Swamp rat.
No, it's Sarlacc. Sarlacc. I wasn't far off.
You said
It's
Snorlax.
not.
I did. I wasn't too far off though.
That's a Pokemon, bro.
I know. I
Snorlax.
realized that as I was saying it. Anybody else? Messi, Rita, you guys talked about you playing a terrible game, but hopefully playing
We're
it.
playing tomorrow on
when's
Rena's
next?
channel.
What are you playing after WoW?
Oh, after WoW, I think we're going to Elder Scrolls Online.
That's a good one.
Okay, that's cool.
That's
That's
fun.
legit.
Scott and I
Well,
played that
we're-
like once, and we had fun. We're like, let's do this again, and we never did.
Wow. Also on the
Wade,
list
I
is
wish. I wish.
also on the list, and I don't know what order yet, is Final Fantasy 14 and SWTOR.
Let's
How
Sure.
far?
That's
How
what
far into these are you
And-
getting? Because Final Fantasy 14, I hear the DLCs are good, but to get like from the main game to
The
the
main
first, like,
campaign is
So
DLC,
okay,
it takes
so
forever.
let me explain. It's what we're doing is basically saying we have not played MMOs in a long time or at all. Most of these we have not touched. So the idea is, what is it like as a new person going into this MMO with little to no knowledge about what it is, and just playing from level 1 and just seeing how far we can get in a week, and like seeing what the game experience is like in a week. So if early game's really bad, that's all we're gonna see.
Cool. Because the older ones that you go with, if you start in their original like old zones, you're never gonna see the newer content. That's interesting.
Yes.
And the newer content's typically the better content. At least
Well, it's
with
their
Final
fault
Fantasy
for
14.
designing it with.
Yeah.
Are you
not
guys
They
necessarily-
don't
paying
make
to win
you
all
collect
these? Are you
7
buying all the
elderberries?
cosmetics?
Sorry, you guys all talk what?
Elderberries and cosmetics? You're buying all the cosmetics, right?
Yes, Wade, we'll buy all the cosmetics and we'll charge your card directly. Don't worry.
Oh,
So you have a wheel? My card's tied to wheel?
There's no.
Beans and
we don't-
babyface?
No, we don't have an MMO wheel.
Yeah, I
You
took a break
should.
from the wheel. The wheel's coming back. The wheel will return. But not yet.
Oh,
I'll let you know. Wait, I'll ping you when there's a wheel.
thank you.
Wade's
Even
like a
though
fucking
you always yell at me and
hamster.
tell me to leave whenever I show up.
Scott, I don't think you understand how much money Wade has spent on my streams.
I can only imagine
much.
just watching the hamster fucking running.
Well,
do
and I
you
went
know
over to
how much
Scott's
Wade spent for Miranda?
Do you know how much I spent on Scott's Dick Rail channel so that I could get Steve and Snog
That's
and other
right.
people like on my
No.
side for this channel?
I don't think you understand. Like you altered Aurorum, like you fixed a deer, like you fixed the portals, like legitimately, like something that wasn't supposed to resolve till after the Adirian updates are over. You're like, cool, they're done. You want to have your country back? And I'm like, yes. And you're like, cool, it's done now. I'm like,
One
Thank you.
shot.
now bring me back Miranda.
uh,
He really is the Batman
um,
of our world.
Where's Miranda?
where's Rachel?
I played Raid Shadow Legends as a non-joke for like 2 years, man. If
Yeah, I
can-
saw you on Star Rail too, I think, for a while.
A little bit. I didn't get as into it. Those games you have to like actually put effort in. It annoys
Star,
me.
Yeah,
what?
boring.
Star Rail?
I-
You
I
don't
just
have
wanna
to
play
put any
MMOs
effort in.
and
What are
only
you
do the
talking
early
about?
game.
I want something to like distract me a little bit while I'm watching stuff. I don't want to have to like walk around and interact.
Wade, I really, really want to do like a set of time with you where it's like we play from beginning to end 2 Crowns. Like we do not end until it's done.
How long
Let's
is that
do-
game?
I
Not
think
that long.
I think it's about 10 to 14 hours. If you do it
Just
from
play
beginning to
Baldur's
end,
Gate.
mediocre. You can power run it. You can do it faster, but like
Kingdom 2
10 to
Crowns?
14 hours. Kingdom 2 Crowns. Yeah, I think it's like 10 to
You could
14
do
hours
way
and a mediocre
less-
run. Oh, you
No,
can. I'm talking about a mediocre run. I'm talking about like not
Me.
paying attention, so on and so forth. I love that game though.
And
So,
They came out with an 80s version.
oh,
Really
so
fun.
good.
Yeah, Bunny, one of my mods has been on me about that. They're like, "You're gonna try the '80s?" And it's like, I didn't even know that was a thing. I just felt like playing, so I re-downloaded it. I didn't know there was deals. You think I know things?
It's not DLC. It's
Last-
just like its own separate standalone game. But yeah.
I think
But,
last time I played
hey,
it was
oh, sorry,
Viking
what was
and Asia.
Sorry,
I
I
think it
just-
was like Japan.
I just want this stream to end, so I'm gonna take the reins back for a second and
Oh,
say,
let's
if any of
take
you
all
guys
your
wanna-
time for MMOs. Fine, whatever.
If any of you guys want to play MMOs, feel free to hit us up. We aren't doing anything other than WoW this week, but when we come back with
Sorry,
D&D, we'll also be
Remnant's
the week we
taking
come
up
back.
all my time this week.
It's so good. You're right. It's so good.
Have
Anyway,
you
that's
heard
all
of
from us.
Distractable? That's all from
Yeah.
us.
Wait. Why don't you go? The
Snaga, getting back on topic is ending the stream. Go ahead, Wade. Distractable.
yeah. Take over the other
Watch
the
it.
gray weight.
Oh, wait. Fuck you. Wait,
Which
my
one?
beard or my shirt? Or Pat? Just fuck you. Whatever. Back.
That's me. I'm
Watch
Mario.
MMOs. Watch Distractable. Watch Aurorum. Watch Pat play Remnant. And have baby. See y'all.
No, don't
See y'all in 2
watch
weeks.
that. Okay.
Watch
see you
Pat
guys.
have baby.
I guess Pat doesn't get an outro. Bye, guys.
Pat, is there
You
anything
wanna
that
cut
you
in.
wanted to say before we
Pat's
just
not here.
randomly leave?
No.
Wade Jr.,
Wow.
is there anything that you wanted to say before we just leave?
Commander Shepard. He pointed at the camera. Is this your favorite
Yeah.
stream on the Citadel? Nice.
So
Oh.
nothing, Pat? You're good?
I stream and do things. That's me.
Okay. I'm on vacation next week. The week after that, things are happening over on my channel. Check it out if you're interested. I just want to say one thing as we leave this place. The helmet makes Wade look like a thumb. he looks like a...
Dude, it does
Those are
make
one
your
of those
hands look
thumb-
tiny. Wait, hold your finger up again. Look how small his hand looks.
Aw, he's a thumb with Trump hands. That's nice. All right, who am I? Oh, we're gonna raid Bird 650. That's who we're raiding. Bird 650.
Hey, don't forget we're not playing next week, guys. See you in 2 weeks. Bye.
But by not playing next week, he means that we're definitely playing next week. Totally swing by. We're 100% gonna be live.
This thing
Absolutely.
smells funny.
Take it
That's
off.
called your breath. It's your fucking breath, bro. Like that's that's what that shit is.
My breath smells like fresh paint.
Wait, are you eating paint again? You know it's cancerous in California, right? Oh, bye everybody.